No, we're not. We are live. It tricked me. It said it was live, but it was not live. We are live now. Hey, you guys, welcome. It's Wednesday, and this is Pontificators, and we do this show every Wednesday at 8 Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, RT Bear, coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. This is where the magic happens, and this is a show where we find a subject, a couple topics, and we just kind of riff on them for a couple hours and give our deep dives, our takes, our professional opinions, and just kind of have a lot of fun. And also, this is very interactive, so you guys in the chat, do not hesitate. Chime in and give us your hot takes as well. So there's a couple things, mostly advertising. Advertising is going crazy. We have this crazy Dove ad, Dove soap of all people. And then we have this Ford ad, which is also very, very bizarre. So we're going to play those videos. We're going to riff off those. And we have a very, very special guest on Pontificators tonight. And this guy, used to kind of think of him as a threat. He was my competitor, and now we're buds, and we're on the same page, and we're helping everybody out, and seeing if we can get some people to look at his new project. So that's what we have planned for tonight. We have Leg Kick. How is it? Hello. Clint Helinski's in the chat. How did he get there? Weird. But like I said, you guys, feel free, chime in. It's gonna be a packed night. There's a lot of competition tonight. There's a lot of people that are gonna be live streaming. So we do appreciate you hanging out with us. So without further ado, oh man, I was just gonna click this guy's link, and I'm not. Oh my gosh, you know what? Screw that. I'm going Bob. I'm going Comic Book Bob. You're the first in.
God damn, man, what the hell happened? Usually there's a pecking order. Shit.
Well, Todd, I was going to click on Todd, but Todd's not there.
Todd took off.
So how you doing, brother?
I'm all right, man. Apparently everybody decided to follow Bud Light off the cliff.
Oh, shit, man.
Dude, it's like all this shit came out today. It was like ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh. And they're long ads, too.
Oh
like,
God.
These are like mini movies.
It's just like, what is this shit for? Nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't know who they're selling to. I don't know who their clients are, other than ESG. But before we go too much into the subject, let's get our brother from another mother. He's from the land down under, Mr. Pedro Ang.
Hi. I'm really happy. Like, I was considering buying a Ford, but since I don't like it on the tailpipe, then I guess I'm not.
Yeah, now you don't. Now you can save your money, man. You can buy a Fiat. Buy a Fiat.
A Fiat. A Miata. I'm gonna buy. That's a more manly car now.
Or a Peugeot.
A Peugeot 205.
Yeah. Another weird car. Mm-hmm. All right, I see him now. I see his camera. He's on. He's back. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to you, Todd Mulrooney. You better be ready. I'm gonna do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Todd Mulrooney. Boom.
I was just getting this because we're going to do a quiz.
Nice. Oh, well, you already gave it away. I said special guest, and then you show the freaking.
It's so rude. It's all right.
Todd.
Jesus, Todd.
Todd's gone.
Man, we try to have nice things.
Yeah, Todd breaks every one of them.
Yeah.
Look at Todd. He doesn't care.
You got to have that agent of chaos, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird because Todd's always so low key, but he is the agent of chaos.
Oh no, but when he does it, he does it.
Yeah, he does it. Speaking of the guy that seems like the obvious agent of chaos, but really is not, Mr. Rob Hunter.
Oh, Mr. Cruel to his equipment, Rob Hunter.
Now, I hope everybody has they've got their computers open and they're getting ready to sell short on Ford, Dove. And who's the other company with the shitty commercials? Because if those stocks tank the way Bud Light stuff did, then you'll make a killing.
Well, Miller Draft. I don't know. I saw this video. I think on the Kings. I think it was the Kings, or it was another show we went over. The Miller Light ad, and for some reason, that doesn't seem sincere. It doesn't seem real. Have you guys seen that?
It's real. Oh, that's the thing. Everyone was like, "Is this real?" Because it seems like a parody. No, it's real. That's the sad part about it. It's just like.
Yeah, so much effort put in all the wrong directions. I wish I had some of that stupid money. But let's get the sexy. Let's get some hotness in here, some sexiness. The master.
I'm already here.
It's not you, Rob. Sorry, you're the master of disaster.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Remember, you like to F shit up.
Oh yeah, I do. I love to. Nope. Everything around
thing.
Okay, man.
Well, in this day and age, that's dangerous.
See, you always got to get on the good side of Rob Hunter, otherwise he'll F you up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or he'll F you like Charlize Theron. Like,
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, dude.
She went off the deep end too. She's always been on the deep end. All right, well let's get Mr. Sexy in here. Clint Helinski. Wait a minute, what happened?
Oh no.
Oh
no. Well,
there he is.
That was very sexy.
That was the greatest intro of all time.
I had to double click you.
Oh.
Yeah, for some
Mr.
reason.
Clint Helinski is
All
loading.
All gone, and it was just me.
Uh-oh. He just
froze. He froze.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is you.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Are you streaming from like the center of the earth or something?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You got like a frame rate of like 3.
But he always freezes like Bill Clinton.
You know. There's a hamster running like hell in the corner of the room trying to keep his internet going.
Oh, Panamanian technology. Awesome.
Well, speaking of like who we're gonna miss because we almost missed Clint. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Penelope Powerhouse.
The Waz.
That Chris dude.
Yeah, Mr. Chris dude. He got frozen. He's frozen in, man. He got stormed out. So for some reason, we're going into summer, but wherever he lives, it's snowing. So no Chris Wozniak tonight. He will be sorely missed, but we have a special guest. And like I said, used to consider this guy a rival. I just always wish doom on this guy. Just hoping that he'd get arthritis of the hand. Oh yeah, no, it gets competitive in comics. Yeah. See, Rob knows. Yeah. So just kind of secretly hoping, something bad would happen to this guy.
It's a good thing we didn't know each other back then, Art, because I could get you in contact with people.
Some
I got a couple of guys.
I know a guy that knows a guy.
Yeah.
I hope this guy is laughing, because I don't mean anything that I'm saying. He is a brilliant talent, and comics is way better to have this guy in it, and he's got a new book that he's trying to get some eyes on. So without further ado, Mr. Gary Martin. How you doing, Gary Martin?
Hey everybody. Art, how are you still alive? Clearly my voodoo dolls didn't work.
Yeah, you were shooting that voodoo at my noodle. I could feel it. I used to get these headaches. I felt like my head was going to explode, and then I realized it's Gary Martin. It's coming from Gary Martin.
I have to lay down a little bit of knowledge. I did my due diligence and was looking at your show, and I'm familiar with the word pontificate, but I couldn't, give you a dictionary definition. So I, asked Siri, and according to Siri, pontificate, express one's opinions in a way considered annoyingly pompous and dogmatic.
That's us.
That's what we do.
Example, this is in there. He was pontificating about art and history. And I just said, well, I'm in.
Yeah. You found the right show.
History, so.
Yeah, you found the right show. Very good, man. I'm so glad you could make it. and you have a new campaign that you're going to be launching very soon. So you have your pre-launch, and we're going to be covering that and getting into some Gary Martin goodness very, very soon. But does anybody have like a quick news? Anything happen? I heard like Kamala Khan, maybe something bad may be happening to her.
Yeah, she
soon
bit
in
the big
Pages
bazooka.
of Spider-Man.
Well, I think Kamala Harris, she did another press conference that didn't make any sense. Is that what you were going for, Art?
Oh, Kamala Khan. Is that her
Khan.
name?
Oh, okay.
Khan, yeah.
Ms. Marvel.
Ms.
Yeah,
Marvel,
Ms.
yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah. Nothing like a character with its own TV show.
Yeah, dude. I mean, gets killed not in her own comic, but in
That's the
Spidey's
best.
comic.
That's the best joke going around is she couldn't die in her own comic because it
Yeah,
got
dude.
canceled too fast.
Yeah,
It's been
so-
canceled
every-
multiple times.
Mhm.
Yeah, everybody was saying that if they killed her off in like Miss Marvel or something like that, or Captain Marvel book, that no one would really even.
No one would know.
that she
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
you know,
if a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make a sound.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Marcus Kilgore brings a great point. Kamala Khan died a virgin, and that is haram. So
What was that?
Yeah. Like Kamala Khan died a virgin,
oh shit.
but she's a Muslim, so that's haram, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have to clarify, Danky Frankie.
Mhm.
Past tense. I mean,
One.
Gary,
One.
Gary obviously sustained all the voodoo I was shooting at his noodle.
Mm.
And apparently he was doing the same to me. So somehow we sustained it.
Cancel
we're
each
still
other
here.
out.
Dude,
Yeah,
I blame
we
your
met-
voodoo priests, man.
We met for the first time, what was it, like a couple of years ago at a comic show, sat next to each other, and we healed all past grievances and became best buds.
Yeah. It was over a bunch of tequila, and we had an exorcist. They have these inker exorcists that come in. I didn't know this, but Gary was really he knew all about this stuff. So we had an inker exorcist come in and basically exorcise all the hateful demons that we had for each other. How's that for a lie?
Yeah.
What's true about what you said is most people don't understand what inkers do. So we can literally say anything and people believe us because it's kind of a mystery.
You're a bunch of tracers.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. See, you made my point for me.
How dare you? How dare you? I actually had
Exactly.
Kevin Smith reduce me to just a tracer.
Ooh.
I worked on a Batman project with him and Walter Flanagan. And so I was hired by, DeDito hired me to kind of bring the pencils up to a certain level, right? So that was my job. I did an audition piece and everything. They paid me a bunch of money to go above and beyond. And then I got
You got extra money for that?
Oh, I got a lot of extra money for it.
I
yeah.
never got extra money for that.
And so then we're about 3 issues into it. Walter didn't like it. Kevin didn't like it. And so eventually they were just like, can you just cover the lines? And I was like, oh my gosh, Kevin Smith just told me just to be a tracer.
Those pricks. Saving that. You're saving that shit. Saving
Yeah.
that book.
And the best part
Garbage without
is I went to Dan and I go, Dan, I can't take this higher page rate anymore because they just want me to, cover lines. He goes, don't worry about it. Just take the money.
You told them, hold on, time out. You told them you were getting paid too much?
Like a Boy Scout.
Yes, I did, Gary.
Wow.
Well, there's
silence.
There's plenty of guys right now in the biz who, if they get really tight pencils and they're inking digitally, they just darken it. They'll just darken the pencils in Adobe Photoshop and then
Yeah.
do a little cleanup. And say that they
Was
inked
it Joe Mad does that a lot?
to himself? Yeah.
Well, you can do it for yourself, but if you're paid to ink, you should ink and not just darken pencils. That's called
Of
cheating.
course.
That's called being
But
a professional.
look at some of those son of a bitches. They don't know how to do that anyways. They were just tracing anyways. So all they did was speed up their process because they sucked in the first place.
But just to clarify, there are no tracers on Pontificators tonight.
The balls are out. Jeez.
So are we done with this whole Kamala Khan thing?
No,
Yeah,
dude, no, dude. You know why they're doing this? They're
No, I
like,
don't.
hey, when Superman died, there was a big bump. Maybe if we kill her, everybody will finally like her.
That's not gonna work.
So is that like
Well,
like
I mean,
absence makes
yeah,
the heart
it's not,
grow
but-
fonder?
It's clickbait. It's
Yeah.
clickbait writing. Like they can't write a good story anymore to save their life. So what can we do to get attention? Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, is going to be in the upcoming Marvels movie. Everybody knows it. It got pushed back to the fall. What can we do to get attention?
Dude,
let's kill her off in Spider-Man.
Dude, the
Then
move is obvious.
The other thing is they can bring her back and they can have her powers reassigned so it fits the MCU powers.
Dude,
Because
but
right
the
now
move-
she still has the big
Yeah.
rubber hands instead of the
Do
energy.
they
any
powers.
of you
said somebody-
guys?
Oh, go ahead, Gary.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do any of you guys know the numbers on these? I mean, does this sleight of hand actually affect sales? Like,
I don't
when
follow
they
this stuff anymore.
did kill Superman, that was like
Not
they sold
not
millions
anything
of
close.
copies.
Like the sales.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
They don't give out.
Like I don't
sales
even know what
anymore.
Spider-Man
They quit.
sells.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
quit
stopped
talking
giving out
sales.
like real accurate
Yeah, dude.
ideas of what they sell and everything.
Dude, but how many deaths have we have so far? You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing new. Like, if you want to do something
Right.
outrageous with Kamala Khan, I mean, she wears a burkini. She's of a certain religion. Hey, Kamala Khan opens an OnlyFans. That's a book. That would be
My
outrageous.
God. No,
I-
thank
I
you.
would-
Sheesh.
Except it's a
I
comic
wouldn't
book.
want that to happen.
Yeah.
She's just a child.
Well, isn't she still
Yeah, it
like
is.
isn't she still like in high school? That's kind of
Dude, they want to be shocking, right? That's what they want to do. They want to put that name on the map. They've tried everything and nobody cares.
No, they actually.
Well,
they
I
don't
think
care
what's going to happen is people are going to cheer that she's gone. You
They
know,
are
because
cheering.
from what I understand,
They already are.
There's not a lot of fans of hers. The one
Mhm.
thing that I was thinking was interesting is like these people, you know, like Marvel and DC, they used to be like the caretakers of these companies, and then you'd have film and licensing come in, and then DC would still try to guide. This is what Superman would do. This is what he wouldn't do. All those things they used to come up with like visual, Bibles and all this stuff. And the thing is, I don't know who's overseeing any of this because you have a movie coming up. You have the TV show that was on Disney Plus that, from what I hear, the numbers weren't great, but people really liked it. They liked
wasn't
the
bad.
actress that plays the character, and so then they have this movie coming out. She's the standout in the trailer. Everybody likes her in the trailer. So then what do? You kill her off in the comics. Like this doesn't make any sense at all. I don't quite understand the strategy here, if there even is any. For me, I was just thinking like it's just a way to reboot the character when the movie comes out. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that there is a bigger game plan here?
I don't think there's any game plan at all, man. I think they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, it's the old spaghetti at the wall technique.
Yeah.
So you
Because
don't
like
think,
you said, if they were trying to promote this thing, they would like, hey, what's the best comics we've ever had with them? I mean, obviously it's dog shit, but
Yeah.
it's like they like try to promote the actual character instead. They're like, this is how good this character is. We're killing her off in the comics.
Right.
What
So
is
you don't
it?
think it's like? So you don't think it's like Gary was saying, like a Death of Superman, where they obviously had a plan not only to kill the character, but to keep the book going for a year without Superman, so people actually think that the character is dead, and all that stuff. There was thought and care that went into the death, so it didn't seem like it was just a publicity stunt. So you don't think that Marvel has any kind of follow up to this at all?
I can't see them caring, because if they care, Disney streaming. I mean, Disney has streaming plus, and they don't promote the comics. They literally. So if they can't do that, then they don't care about the comics. The comics do whatever they want. And
Could it be that
sales are
she's going to be
trash.
like a ghost character?
Come back
Who the
as a
hell
spirit?
knows?
He could be Casper.
Well,
You-
somebody
Ms.
there-
pointed
Marvel
out,
there-
Casper.
Wait.
There
Go
were
ahead,
some
Doc.
really good stories with Captain Marvel who died. They killed Captain
Mhm.
Marvel. That where he was dead.
Yeah.
He was visited or whatever on some like rock or asteroid or something like that.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
weird
know.
limbo thing, right?
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
stuff?
And those
Yeah.
are really good stories. Maybe that's they're like, hey, maybe we'll sell a better story
Right.
if she's fucking dead.
Dude,
but we wanted to see Captain Marvel.
Here's the thing, man. Yeah, Todd, you're giving them credit for being
Short-lived
creative.
Captain Marvel was a great character.
You know,
Yeah.
just what Bob said. Like Todd, you always bring it, man. You're always the hopeful guy, and you always come up with like great ideas how these people can fix these ideas. But the thing is, yeah, I just don't think that they really. I agree with everybody. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate. I don't think they really have a plan.
I would echo what you're saying, Art. I don't think they know what's good. I don't think they understand about the characters. I don't think they respect the characters and what they represent and how important they are to the fans. They just are just doing what they want to do, and chips fall where they may. If they respected the characters and they respected creativity, they wouldn't let the accountants call the shots. It would be about creativity. It would be about writing new stories and new concepts. But they can't even do that. I mean, their system is set up to where if a new idea comes to their editorial, they run it by accounting, and they get the opinions of the accountants. Well, how well will this sell? And
yeah,
the
that's true.
Don't think it will sell very well, then they shut down the project.
Or they get the cheapest people they can find to work on it.
Not
they decide on a budget before it comes out. Like they literally they're like,
hang on.
Even before an accountant, I think it goes through like inclusivity commissar or whatever. That like
Dude, don't laugh. It's possible.
A diversity filter.
Diversity czar.
Yeah,
Bizarre. I like that word.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but let's be like truthful about it, I guess, in the sense of he's in some upcoming movie. So there's got to be something.
Yeah, it's a.
There's got to be
It's a
some
gimmick.
thing they're gonna try, like Archie and Afterlife.
Zeb Wells is the writer of Spider-Man, and he also wrote the Marvel movies. So they do have this tied together.
Yeah.
I think they used it as a clickbait to try. Editors now care about headlines. They don't care about writing good stories. And the other thing is they had to rectify, like for the continuity geeks, her powers are different in the comics than they are in the movies.
Yeah.
And so somebody pointed out to me today, like whatever the Krakoa thing for the mutants.
oh yeah.
Like they can bring her back to life in Krakoa, and she
As a
can be a mutant, like she was, like they showed in the TV show that she's a mutant. So it realigns her continuity. They get their splashy death story, and I mean they're trying to hype her up before the movie comes out and trying to see if anybody cares about her death.
Well, I think what I'm saying though is that like the comic guys might be trying to feed off of that, but I don't think there's any kind of a concerted effort between the film people and the comic people.
Oh no,
well, Zeb
people don't
is
care.
like Clint said. I mean, he's the common denominator between the two. So he obviously, since he's writing both, had some kind of idea in mind.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, any creative person, it seems like that thought would have occurred to them, about doing this. So who knows? And if Zeb Wells is the guy that wrote the Marvels and is writing Spider-Man, Kamala Khan isn't a Spider-Man character, so it is unusual that she would even be in that title. So there might be more thought to it than we're giving it credit for.
Yeah.
But it still is just going to probably crash and burn, because I just don't think anybody cares that much about the comic book version.
I mean, it'll get a slight bump, because whenever you have a clickbait thing like that, there's a small group of people that are like, oh, who buy everything will be like, well, I'm going to buy that.
The hardcores that are they'll get it just in case it becomes a collector's item.
But
also they made sure it was in the pages of Spider-Man, which there are hardcore Spider-Man collectors that no matter how good or bad the book is, they'll
buy it.
The numbering system going. So in that case, then maybe they did give some thought to it. But it's still kind of a desperate Hail Mary pass. Like it still has no substance to it. It's a pretty hollow, publicity stunt. any
Substance.
anything behind it.
Well, it's like you
Yeah,
said,
there's no
substance.
effort.
It's like you said,
Yeah.
substance. This character has never had substance, which is why
Yeah.
it's never caught on the way that they wanted it to.
Well,
Yeah.
look at Mandalorian. Mandalorian, at the end of every episode, they show stills of storyboard and
Mhm.
concept art, but they don't show comics. They don't show Marvel's Star Wars comics.
No.
Like what the? Like you literally showed us that.
Right.
Look, we're showing stills of stuff, but this is for the people we care about. We care about our concept guys because they actually had a conversation with.
It's
John
great
Parr
to
or
see
whatever.
that stuff, though, right?
It is.
But
I do.
they
I like
could,
it.
You're right. There's been
could
a
be
few
comics.
covers they could have shown or
Mhm.
whatever. Show
Check
some
out your
Stuart
local
Immonen
comic
in
store.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, a concept artist doesn't have stakes on the IP. Like the thing with the comic book is that if you base it off comic books, then you're paying writers and you're paying artists, and they don't like that. So a concept artist, a storyboard artist, is part of the unit. So you just get paid and go home.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why they use it like that, and that's been the focus. Like they phased out the comics. Like they want to make it the Marvel universe at least. They want to make it like its own thing, just because they want all the rights, they want all the royalties. They don't want to pay it.
But
No,
you can
yeah.
still
Yeah.
promote
I
it.
want to
right?
read
It
this.
wouldn't be hard to
I like
promote.
Robert Romano. Let me read this. The Reign of Superman was pretty good. Thank you. I did some of the beginning stuff for that, but I was really busy, so I wasn't for the whole death of and everything. I did the Rise of Doomsday books. But yeah, I mean, I was privy to a lot of that stuff, and they did it right. I mean, there were questions about, like, everybody was like, okay, if we're going to do this, it can't seem like a publicity stunt. You know, we got to give some substance to that. So at least everybody had the right idea. You know what I mean? Like everybody was on the same page and tried to make it seem like, well, if we're going to kill him, let's make people really think he's dead. You know what I mean? And they went a year, and then they created 4 new Superman characters for the 4 different books. That is smart, man.
Hey,
I
Art,
mean,
But that's
Art,
planning.
since you were on the inside, there's a question I've always wanted to know. Did the cyborg Superman have a cyborg dick?
Oh,
Did he
that's a
have-
good question.
Look at that.
Or
the
did he-
actor
You
that's
lay
gonna play
awake at
Cyborg
night.
We're already
Superman,
back to butt stuff. God
Yeah.
but now it's
Well, it's
front
Clint.
stuff.
What parts were robotic and how big were they?
Yeah, now it's front stuff. It's not butt stuff.
Yeah,
This is
full
it's going to
frontal
depend
shit.
on the actor who plays him now, isn't it, Clint?
I guess so.
You're
That's
going to
not.
ask Jeff Johns, like, what
You
what-
sidestepped that question, Art.
Yeah, I did. Oh, but
Like
I
a
do
master.
have like an inside baseball story about the Superman stuff.
Yes.
Is the cyborg Superman? I had a plan for that character before he became the cyborg Superman. So if I do believe the cyborg Superman is the Reed Richards in that
Yep.
storyline, and so basically Jurgens came up with a story like, let's do an FF type of story, but it's going to be like a horror story, right? It's going to be like they come back to Earth, they have these powers, but they go horribly wrong. And so then the only one that lives is Reed Richards, the Reed Richards character. And
King
so
Kenja.
then, yeah, and so then he just guilt ridden. He just, he got his whole family killed and all that other stuff. And so I pitched to Mike Carlin, who was the editor of Superman. I said, let's make that guy DC's version of Doctor Doom. And I had a whole storyline, like he's already going bad. He has like this origin. Let's make him Doctor Doom. And Mike was like, oh my gosh, it's a great idea. And so I wrote it up with a friend, and Mike gave us notes back. And my friend, who's a pretentious butthead, and he's not my friend anymore, who I brought into the project, but I'm not really a writer per se. I'm an idea guy. And so he said he wasn't going to take any editorial notes from Mike Carlin. So that's
Was
as
it
far as
Jim
it
Lee?
went.
Was it George Costanza?
It was Jim Lee, wasn't it?
He pulled a George Costanza on you, man.
Yeah, he's basically George Costanza. This guy was a knucklehead, and that was pretty much it. But that's
Is he somebody we'd know though? You don't have to say his name.
No. He pretty much crashed and burned. He was. It's kind of like one of those childhood friends where you just sit on the corner and dream about doing comic books.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah, and they have like those are the worst, and they're like,
It was
yeah,
Rob
let's do
Liefeld.
this. Let's do
It was
comic
Rob.
books. And then it's not so much like some people do have the packs. Like they go, if I make it first, I'm going to help you get in, and if you make it first, you help me get in. So there was never that kind of open pact. But I always thought he was talented. I always thought he could have a place in comics. So I'd always try where I could to get this guy in, and he was just self-destructive. But
that's too bad.
He never went anywhere.
Hey, speaking of people that you guys have worked with before, have any of you guys ever worked with Len Kaminsky?
Gary?
No, but I know the name.
Yeah, he's one of the co-creators for War Machine. The reason I ask is apparently he's had a real bad health situation, and I don't know. I don't know what kind of person he is, or like what kind of relationship anybody has with him or anything like that. But apparently he's in a home now.
Oh,
and
shit.
they basically this home basically screwed him over, and they took all of his they drained his insurance, they drained his bank account. He's got no money, and now he can't leave because he doesn't even have a home to go back to anymore.
Oh, dude!
So they put together a GoFundMe for him and everything. I was going to drop the link in there.
Isn't there already a charity for older comic creators? What is
that? The Hero Alliance?
Yeah, Heroes Alliance or something like that.
Well, they
Hero Initiative or something.
Initiative, yeah.
Well, they created a GoFundMe for him, so I'm going to drop the link for that. But I'll look that up too. But I didn't know if maybe any of you guys worked with him in the past.
If you can find that link,
David raised a bunch of. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, we'll post it. We'll post that link. I have another friend that he's having some hardships, and you guys will know this guy, and I'm trying to get him involved with us and get him in here because he has great stories. He's got decades of history, and he's a brilliant talent. And he just got pretty much beat up by living in California. Just for living in California, he got his ass kicked recently. Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know.
If I get that
I can't say. I'll out him. So I'm trying to get him.
Out him from like what? Were you outing? Like, is the KGB?
Well, let him come in on his own. We don't need to throw his name out there on a live show.
Yeah,
he's a hitman now, Todd. Yeah. He's a hitman for the.
Because I got a guy. I told you.
I got a guy.
We got
guys.
He is that guy. If I need anything done, he's there. Yeah, no, but he's got great stories.
If you need anything done.
Yeah, done. But he and I were talking, and I just thought about this. I'm going to pose this question to you guys. And so as we were talking, he's a Hollywood guy now, but he was thinking about like getting back into comics. So that's kind of the backstory, and that's where we were talking. And so then
he must not be making any money in Hollywood.
Well,
not writing anything right now.
All the gears are grinding. Like, who is this guy?
Well, he's a writer, so there you go. There's a strike. And he had.
I was a chef for a 4-star restaurant, but I'm thinking about working at McDonald's again
as a fryer.
Yeah.
No. Hey, Gary, everybody in Hollywood isn't making the big bucks.
Right now, everybody's on lettuce.
Yeah, but anyways, like what came up for me was here's that link, you guys. What came up for me was the question as we were talking that the industry isn't for us anymore. Not only the professional industry, but even just these characters like Marvel and DC, they just aren't for us. Like even if we wanted to go back into the industry, it would be strange because they've moved so far away from anything that's recognizable with what we grew up with and what we love as creators. I don't know if I would even really feel right working for them or be able to do the job. So I'm just going to do a round robin and see what you guys think. Like, is this it? Is Marvel and DC, is this their fate? It's never going to be for us again. Like, is this definite? I guess what I'm asking is let's be definitive here. Like, is it done? Is the Marvel and DC universe done? So Bob, what do you think?
It's done until one of two things happens. Either they get so desperate that they realize they have no choice but to change, or somebody finally gets a rush of brains to the head. I don't think. Look, they're never going to go away. I don't think Marvel and DC are ever going to completely die.
No, but let me clarify. Let me clarify my question. My question is like our Spider-Man, our Superman.
Oh, they're gone.
What we know and what we love as far as these characters. That's what I'm talking about. I think as a publishing entity and these IPs will still exist, but they'll be completely different.
Yeah, they've been gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't think it'll ever come back?
No.
Or you think that maybe if there was
like I said, unless sales and whatnot falls off to the point where their desperation gets to the point where they swallow their pride and realize, you know what, we got to go, even though it's problematic, we got to keep the lights on around here. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think they're like, you look at if you want an example of where I think their mindset is, look at IDW. They're declaring what is it? Chapter 11?
Yeah,
bankruptcy, and they're still hiring people like Heather Antos.
Yeah. Do you think it's a money thing?
No, I think it's an ideology. I think ideology has supplanted commerce.
Profitability,
yeah.
Well, plus the people that are calling the shots in editorial, they're not the people that grew up with these characters.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have, a place in their heart for these characters. So the idea of, the original Peter Parker Spider-Man mythology is, it's completely meaningless to them. They're busy creating their own mythologies. So yeah, I think you said it yourself, Art. I think those characters are gone.
Yeah, and as far as like those mythologies, they're already in the process of killing all of them.
Right.
They're rewriting the history of characters to fit their mold. So those characters are dead and gone.
Right.
Well, how about you, Pedro? What's your take on this?
Well, the thing's like I've never worked in Marvel or DC. I'm being more of a fan. Now, would I work at them and the state they are right now? The answer is no. Yet, what I'm watching is a pattern, and someone's getting paid, man. Someone's getting paid because ideology will only take you so far. So if someone's getting paid, whether it be ISG or any other form, until that tip dries up, nothing's gonna change. Because, dude, like they know they're not selling comic books. They know people hate their characters. It's not moving. The Marvel movies are junk now. Like nothing is working, and they keep just beating on that horse. So the money's flowing from somewhere, and until that stops, our opinion will mean nothing. We just gotta keep on doing what we're doing our stuff over here.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I don't think our opinion is ever going to matter.
No,
because it's ideological insanity. It's like that saying from Einstein: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting different results.
Yeah, Bob. Like, I mean, that's a great point, but the point is that this is sponsored insanity.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Somebody's paying the bills.
Getting paid. Yeah, somebody's getting paid.
So Clint,
and that's the thing. The people at the top, they're getting paid regardless.
Yeah.
And they don't care about. But it's the thing that I don't understand. It's that these creators who are still towing that line and spewing this BS, but they're not. But then they're out here doing GoFundMe's because they can't pay their bills.
Oh yeah, they're not getting paid.
That's
for sure.
But the thing is like the top people at the top of the company are getting paid, but they're not bringing any money in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But let's get some other points of view. Clint,
that's not your job.
Yeah, I mean, what everybody's saying is right. I know people that work that are still pros that work on these books, and they hate what they're working on because of the ideology of the storyline. It's like they're getting stories where nothing happens and it's just filler. People are showing up and collecting paychecks, It's classic. Just punch the clock, get my check, get in, get out. Nobody cares about what they're doing. The heart of comics is gone. People that care about these characters. I mean, you guys remember the old days. Like the people that were working on these books cared about these characters. I think once somebody said it earlier is like these editors, they didn't grow up on these characters. They don't care about what Peter Parker, like what his backstory is,
his motivation.
So, and it shows. So it's like they're hanging on to the diehard fans that like have to have every issue of Spider-Man. That's the only people that are buying these comics anymore. It's like they've lost any of the fans that just read for escapism and fun. Like those people don't buy comics anymore. That's why their audience has dwindled. But it doesn't matter because they're absorbed by these giant corporations. They're kind of just existing to exist right now. Like, I don't think there is any incentive for them to raise their sales, to like sell more comics. It's just their little IP farms. And I mean, if James Gunn can go through and pick 3 or 4 good stories out from the last decade of crap from DC, and he can turn it into 1 or 2 good movies, then DC did its job for the last decade. They can get 1 good story from DC Comics to make a movie. All the crap that they publish doesn't matter to them.
Right.
So,
Clint, because that movie's going to make a shit ton of money.
Could you imagine they come with like an anthology book of the latest book from Marvel, and this is just called like A Decade of Crap?
They'd have a hard time editing out what they're going to put in there because it's all crap.
It's all crap. Yeah, it's like
let me read this.
800-page book.
Let me read this. Tom's drawing board. Time to blow up both universe and start over, and has someone in charge who will protect the original legacies of all the characters. I finally have come. I still want to hear what Rob and Todd and Gary have to say about this, but I really have come to the point, and this was when I was talking to my friend. It's not our universe anymore. It's not our world. No. It's not our Marvel. It's not our DC. No. Comics will still exist. Good comics will still exist. We'll probably be the ones creating them moving forward. But I just don't think the Marvel and DC universe are ever going to be what they once were. For better or for worse, but it looks like it is for the worse. So having said that, Rob, like, what's your take on this?
I would say that it would be super easy to just walk in because Mark Silvestri already proved that he can do a Batman Joker story, and because of who he is, and it'll sell. So literally, I could walk in and say, hey, I want Wolverine. I want 6 issues of Wolverine. I'll plot it, pencil, ink it, and I'm going to do it 6-issue story over 6 days. That way I don't have to worry about any of their shit characters, only the story I wanted to do, and the story takes place. That's what's great about comic books is the some stories, are expanded and some are contracted. And they could easily go, oh, well, for 6 days, Wolverine's in Tokyo fighting ninjas. So that'd be my Wolverine story. And I could do the same goddamn thing with Batman. I could just 6 days.
It could be the 6-day project. Rob just froze. But that's not a bad idea. And like you said, Silvestri has proven it, that you can come in out of the blue and do that. But it's also, that guy's a superstar and the work is exceptionally well. But I don't know if that's got crossover appeal. I don't know if the people that are buying, the new Kamala Khan Miss Marvel book are the same ones that are buying the Mark Silvestri book.
They aren't, because the people that are buying the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel book don't exist.
Yeah.
So
it's comic book stores trying to dump them.
A figment of Sana Amanat's imagination.
Yeah. Okay, Todd Mulrooney, what do you have to say?
So when I went after the guy in charge and I threw at him the names that he chose, I said, you saved Marvel from bankruptcy because you chose these people, these names. Not because of the books they did. It was the names And like you talked about, Mark Silvestri's a superstar. So he chooses all these UK writers, even UK artists like Steve Dillon and Asad Ribic and stuff like that, because the books were superheroes fighting supervillains for super stakes. And I do believe they've kind of gotten off of that. Not to say that you go into a superhero book and he's not fighting a supervillain, but there's a lot of writer interjection into the book. The writer's trying to insert himself into these stories by making it about like they have friends that are normal. You know, if I'm Thor, my friends aren't normal. You know what I mean? So, and he had no answers, by the way. I went right after him one time and I said, listen, you saved the company because you chose to try something, right? And Marvel Knights was like Daredevil and Black Panther and this, that, and Mark Texera. He chose people that people know. I know that person's name because he's done some really great stuff. Now, all those people, none of those people work at Marvel that worked on those books, the Marvel Knights books. That's not to say there aren't good writers and good artists, but you sort of left, like, you wanted to push this thing into a place where people didn't want to go. Stuart Immonen left Spider-Man because he's like, I want to just draw Spider-Man and not Spider this guy and Spider Girl this guy. It was getting to the point where he's like, this isn't what I want to do. He didn't really retire. He just got sick of like where the stories were going because he was drawing like 30 Spider-Men.
Marvel Knights guys all left Marvel Knights because they were getting paid shit, especially when they found out what Joe Quesada was paying himself for Daredevil.
Yeah. Narcissism.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But that's why they quit.
You can't do it again if you do it with the thought of like, who do we give these ships to? You take this ship, you take that ship, and go where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
It's like there's an agenda. There's somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings and saying, you got to do this. Like, she's not the person who should be in charge. What did she know about comics before she got there?
Yeah.
I don't know her history, so I shouldn't say that. But I don't think she was the right choice. That's not somebody you pick.
But you know what? A lot of this, when it was first happening, I was just thinking it was a Hail Mary pass because publishing is changing. Like, there's so much that's changing, not just like comic books. Like, there's like newspapers, printed medium. There's a lot of things that were going on. So sales was going to organically start going down regardless. But for me, I think it was a lot of these publishers and people that were in charge, like a decade or so ago, that finally just threw up their hands and went, we don't know. You know what I mean? So they just started trying all of this different stuff. And then ESG came up. And so instead of like trying to write good stories and keep the fan base happy and excited about what books they're putting out, they started romancing ESG. They started wooing those guys. And so they started creating agenda comics that then in turn were appealing to nobody, but they were getting this ESG money that was keeping these comic book companies afloat. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I don't know why you would double down on this kind of malarkey when the numbers have clearly not shown that this is going to work or will ever work. Like, I don't see this ever working. Right. But before I go too far, I want to get Gary's take on this. So Gary, what's your take on this?
Well, two things. And you kind of said it already. I think the parent companies for Marvel and DC have waved the white flag a long time ago when it comes to comic book sales. The comic book companies are there just to prop up the licensing. It doesn't matter if their books make money or not at this point, because that's not where the money is. It's in the films, it's in the TV shows, it's in T-shirts and all that stuff. That's where the big money is. So it doesn't really matter at this point what the companies do publishing wise. And coming from a freelance point of view, that the page rates have been dropping over the years to where, as an example, if Marvel or DC came to me and said, hey, would you ink whatever, Hulk or Batman or whatever, I'd have to tell them no, because I couldn't eat with their page rates. My page rate at those companies, the last time I worked for those companies was probably about 10 or so years ago. And at that time, my page rate was lower then than it was 30 years before that.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
And so when you think about that across the board, who are they getting to color and to letter and to ink and to draw these comics? They're not getting people that have experience, that have done it and know what they're doing. They're getting people that don't care about the page rate because this is their dream.
Or they're getting people from countries where the poverty level is so high.
My compadre.
Yeah.
You're getting my compadre.
Yeah.
Right.
And those are fantastic artists, by the way. But yes.
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah. But when that's the case, that they're not paying a living wage, then all the rats are going to, flee the ship. And it just so happens to be a place to go and CG of like-minded people.
Yeah, right
but
here.
How many opportunities are like this for, Joe comic book artist who can't pay his rent?
Yeah,
or, because we don't freelance life, we don't get vacations. We don't get health insurance. Nope. We don't get sick leave. We don't get any of that stuff. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. It's as simple as that. And the system, the editorial system that they put in place that eliminated creative teams staying on books for dozens of issues, that's been in place for a long time now, to where the system is you do a 4 or 6 issue story arc and you're out, and they bring in a new creative team, but there isn't something waiting for you after you finish your 4 or 6 issues. You're on your own. Yeah. So you go from 4 to 6 months of steady work and then nothing. But while you were working, you were making minimum wage, so you don't have anything in the bank.
Nope.
You don't have any
There's
savings.
Comics.
Yeah. Exactly. And they take advantage of that, and they know they're doing that. And that's why anyone like coming out of a Kubert school who might be qualified but doesn't have any experience, they'll take any job that they can, and they don't care about the page rate, because this is their dream and this is what they've worked hard for. And they will do, they'll draw and ink a 8-page story about Aunt May in a Spider-Man annual. They don't care. And I remember, I don't know if it was the same for you, Art, when you first got into comics, I didn't care what character I was working on. I was working on something in comics.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I did assistant work background inking for Dick Giordano and some other inkers at DC. I was getting, for inking entire backgrounds, I was getting $10 to $12 a page, depending on who it was. And I could, knock out maybe 2 pages a day. That's how much money I was making living in New York. And I didn't care. I wanted to make it work. And my point is, the companies know this and they take advantage of it, that across the board, they don't have experienced artists working on these projects. There's a handful of them, but all you have to do is standing at a comic book shop and pick up 10 titles, and I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of the artists' credits, you will never heard of their names before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem with all that,
brand new.
The problem with all that is that, you start in and you're just like, oh man, they're paying me to draw comic books. This is fantastic, right? And you're just scraping by, but you have the enthusiasm and you're just so happy that somebody is giving you anything, like any
Right.
kind of money for your work. But then you hit about 30, you get older, and then you realize that it doesn't really get better. But you're already invested. You're a decade into this. You know what I mean? And you haven't really, went outside of that to try to cultivate connections or whatever. And so then it's kind of like you're trapped. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of like all you know how to do is comic books, but it's never really going to pay you like a real living wage.
Yeah, and then you put literally years of study and effort and honing your craft to get as good of an artist as you can possibly be, and you can't pay your bills.
Yeah, to compete for a minimum wage job.
Guys, this is the best pep talk ever. That's all the artists.
Well,
Yeah.
you make a good point, Pedro.
Yeah.
In my inking book, I have a section in there talking about page rates and all of that.
Yeah.
And then the last time that was updated, which was a couple of years ago, Dark Horse is the publisher.
Yeah.
Chris Warner was my editor, and I talked to him about this. I said, I need to rewrite that section about page rates and what to expect. And I wanted to tell people the truth. And he told me, no, don't do it, because part of this book is to encourage people to get into the industry. And so now, like if I'm at a show and somebody comes up to me and wants a critique, I tell them how hard it is to get into comics and how difficult it is to make a living. Because 20, 30 years ago, I say 30 years ago, I could ink 2 pages a day and make $50,000 a year.
Yes, and like I'm talking to people
That's
in the go ahead.
40% more than I could make today. Doing the
That's
same
crazy.
thing.
But yeah,
40%.
I'm talking like getting back to what we were talking about. I'm talking to everybody in the chat here, asking them, do any of you guys buy anything from the big two anymore? And
I stopped buying comics a long time ago.
Yeah.
Some of it though, for me, I never followed stories or writers or characters. It was always the art.
Yeah.
Who's
Well, you shop with your
drawing
eyes.
the book, who's inking the book. And so even my comic book collection, I would categorize everything by artist, not by title.
Yeah.
And so if one artist went someplace else, then I'd stop buying that title and go to wherever they are.
Right.
And there aren't enough artists for me to follow anymore. So if someone like Frank Miller is going to do a project at Marvel, that doesn't interest me, because that's not the Frank Miller from the golden age of Klaus Janson on Daredevil. It's a completely different. So
and also
that
if
comes
there's
from
an
an
artist
artist
that
point
you
of view.
like, if there's an artist you like, most likely, like we had covered here, you're going to get maybe 3 issues, 4 issues out of that guy, and then he's going to disappear from the market, and then you're like, where is that artist that I like? Where before, you usually did long runs on a book, so it was easier to establish a following and for people to get their fix. Like if they really liked your artwork, they knew you were going to be on next month's Fantastic Four or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it just made a lot more sense because, like you said, Gary, there's also that marketing aspect. The artists that they've also just abandoned. Do you know what I mean? Like they
Exactly.
just
And if there was
that.
like an Art Adams or Michael Golden or somebody like that doing a miniseries, I wouldn't care what company it was or what characters. I would go buy it today. I would go buy it.
But I have
there's
a
no
take
way
on
you're
that.
going to get.
Yeah. And the reason why is because they don't want any more superstars. Image eradicated that. Like there were artists that got uppity and created their own comic book company, and both Marvel and DC took notice, and they said never again. So shortly after that, all those long runs, all those like studios getting behind artists and stuff like that, it was gone. And they started putting it behind writers and giving the writers the clout almost as a way of like F you to the artist. And then now all these writers are entitled and fucking uppity and you know what I mean, starting shit on Twitter and things like that. So it's an industry that's always shot itself in the foot. I just don't think that this is our industry anymore. So I think we're pretty much in agreement that Marvel and DC, these are not our characters. They probably never will be again. And that at best, we're going to get a Silvestri Batman or something like that will happen every once in a while. That will get us back in the comic book shops and buying. But I want to move on because we're now.
Let's do it.
I want to shine some light on The Brush with Destiny, which is Gary Martin's new book. Gary, do you want me to click that link and then you can take it from here?
Sure.
Okay, here you go. This is Gary Martin artwork, you guys.
God. Ooh.
That is gorgeous.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm mostly a brush guy. So stuff that people would normally do with pens, I do with a brush. This piece is, except for the little bit of splatter in the upper left-hand corner, it's entirely brush.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna go jump in the river now.
Pardon me?
I'm gonna go jump in the river now.
So I just always had better control with the brush than with the pen. I can't explain it. I still fool around with pens every once in a while. My hand is not as steady as it used to be. So, I'm definitely experimenting, but I still have better control with the brush.
I'd say.
Nice.
Yeah, that cross hatching on her cheek is insane. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
You saying I don't have the control I used to have. And I'm like,
I don't.
My heart's just like, well, I'm screwed.
Different techniques. I do different kinds of cross hatching patterns to, depending on. Okay, I'll get off that part. Depending on.
No, stay there.
I sell all my books that way, so.
Yeah, Clint knows.
All righty. Here we go.
There you go. Look at the depth.
You can see the variants in black. Those are brush lines, and the fix and fins. Those are brush lines. It's not all like a dead line weight.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll tell you right now, Gary has got the patience of a saint.
I gotta tell you, how long does this take?
Wait, hold on, I'm talking. The discipline here to do this kind of work is absolutely insane. I mean, Gary is a master. I don't think many people can do this type of work.
Well, I know what I'm trying to achieve. And I know the kind of techniques that I'm using takes time. It's not something that I can just, bang out and get the results that I'm looking for. So going into it, I know it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And that's, people say I have patience. I don't think I do. I think if I didn't know how long it was going to take and I hung in there anyway, to me, that's patience. I knew this was going to take me an entire day just to cross his face, just to do that.
Yeah, but where I'm talking about patience is like after a while, I would just get fed up and I'd throw the brush down. Like I wouldn't have the patience to continue to do this. Like maybe if I did like an hour on, an hour off, an hour on, but do a straight 8 hours.
Well, it can be monotonous. It can be monotonous, but for me, cross-hatching, you don't really know what it's going to look like when you're done, when you're cross-hatching, because you're putting layers of grays. It's basically, you're adding layers of gray tone in cross-hatching. And the more layers you put, the darker it gets. So you kind of have an idea in your head, but you don't really know what it's going to look like. And what brings me back for more is that most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, it turns out better than I was expecting. And I think that's the magic of cross-hatching. To me, it just resonates.
Yeah.
And so when I put the blacks in, the black shapes, and then I went in and started doing the cross-hatching, I'm like, oh man, what did I get myself into?
But that's another thing that you do right is you work out from the black shapes instead of the opposite.
Right.
And I think that's why this stuff has the solidity, because it's pre-planned. So the gray stuff can kind of not be that focused. You know what I mean? You could, like you said,
Yes.
you can kind of build it to get to the desired effect. But if you get the blacks in the proper place, all your shadows and everything, then you have something to build off, like something
Exactly. You start,
structurally.
the blacks are the foundation, and then you just keep adding layers depending on what your gray values are.
Oh my gosh,
Let's
that's
see.
gorgeous,
Yeah,
man.
that's so sweet, dude.
Hello,
so I was
Mr.
doing
President.
stuff in chat here. Did you say how long one of these usually? Oh my freaking god! Is all cross hatching in the back?
Bob just lost his mind.
Jeez,
That's all. This is all brush.
Is this like patience or despair management? I will
This is how
just
you
break
punish
down.
people.
Yeah.
You can see, the patterns here. That's probably like 4 layers of lines, and then up here it gets into 5, 6, 7 layers in the darker area.
And
then-
also, you guys have to realize that this isn't just haphazard. There are diamond shapes. Like when you cross hatch, you create shapes
Right.
with the hatching. Otherwise, it turns to mud. So the discipline and it's. I know that you said you don't pre-plan the hatching, but I think you just understand it enough that you can just do it now without thinking.
Well, I plan the values, and I actually code it that way. So I'll do a light, a medium, and a dark for gray.
Gary, can I ask you a technical question? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sure, go ahead.
Clint.
And
Clint is froze.
oh, yeah. Excellent question, Clint.
You're all spinning. Sorry.
We lost you.
So that white, the white arm line, and you're cross hatching right up to it.
Yes.
Like, are you using some sort of shielding there?
No.
Like,
I just draw the line up to that.
So you're cross hatching, and you've got the skill where you can just pull up every single time.
I just stop and don't. I stop and don't, because my lines are they're slow. I'm not going.
So it's a real It's a real slow line. Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's better or worse, because like to have that level of control to go that slow and look like zoom in on that small little patch on her shoulder. Those lines that's insane. Precision, man.
Yeah, the control is
one
insane.
thing that I learned from studying some of the older masters is that they diluted their ink with water in their delicate feathering. And so, Frazetta did that like crazy. You look at, if any of you have the Dave Stevens artist edition, the Rocketeer book, you look at his feather lines. The feather lines are much grayer than his blacks. It's because he diluted the ink that he was using for feather lines, and so you have less liquid in your brush, which gives you better control.
Just the lighting on the beads on her earrings. Like, just look at like the shape and the form. That is so it's beautiful.
And the way that it formed, like it forms a gradient as you move up.
Yeah.
Like what this reminds me of though? It just reminds me of what's his name?
Brian
Katsuhiro Otomo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Akira, where he did that. Like I said, I asked you if like that whole thing was cross hatching in the background there. He did this dome, like if you ever look at the ink work he did on that book, it's freaking.
Oh
insane.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And there's that one really famous one where it's that big black dome that's over top of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts at dark and it goes to this gradient. It's all cross hatching. He started with cross hatching from the start of it and just built it up and built it up and built it up and built it up all the way down. And it's just
that's all this is I lay down a base of lines. Okay, is that gray enough? No. Okay, so then I add another and then another until I get the darkness that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then move on to another area. And using the Brian Boland technique of like inking blonde hair, where he says that he inks around the hair. And that's what I did here. It's not white out, on top of the black background. It's inking around the hair to create those strands.
Okay.
And my biggest intimidation was her nose, because it's all gray tone. Yeah. And I was afraid she was going to look like an alcoholic when I was done.
Little
I'll
W.C.
tell you
Fields.
though, like women's noses are the hardest thing, period.
So
You never want to draw too much attention to the nose.
Right.
But it has to be there. It has to be there. So, usually the better artists that make attractive female faces are the ones that have figured out the shorthand way.
Oh yeah, like Frazetta, he would just put 2 nostrils and that's it.
Yeah.
A couple of dots and maybe a little divot on the top, and that's
so
it.
I was very intimidated, with her nose, and so I did the nose first, and that determined if I was going to continue with the piece or not. Was the nose.
You made the right choice.
Then it works because it fits with everything else.
On average, how long does it take you to do one of these pieces?
Oh well, okay. This piece probably about 2 days.
My God.
The penciling only a couple hours because I'm not drawing all the the cross hatch lines. I'm just kind of blocking in the shapes, and then like her hair, I would just like block in a section of lines and then fill it in with the cursive lines as I would go.
Yeah.
And so it's a process of just kind of, like I say, building up.
And this is like looking at this is like again, this is the level of ability that guys from the past, like you guys, this is what you guys have, and there's a few people today that can do stuff like this, but most of them nowhere near.
I'm not sure there's anybody around that can do this.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wrote the how-to book, The Art of Comic Book Inking, is because I thought even back then, we're talking about, 25 years ago or so, 30 years ago, I can't remember, 25. Back then, brush inking was a dying art. And I wanted to try to, get people excited about it. Because when I first got into comics, the brush was it.
Oh yeah,
that was. I mean, no conversation about it. It was brush, and then it slowly transitioned into more crow quill, and then new types of pens came along, and now when you have conversations about inking, I don't think comics are inked anymore. When somebody says they're inking and you see all the, hundreds of YouTubes of people with their markers and pit pens and all their modern tools, they're just, dare I say it, tracing over the pencil lines. They're just making them darker. They're not adding textures. They're not adding line weights. There isn't any life to the line. There aren't any thicks and thins. And when you look at those artist editions, I mentioned Dave Stevens' Rocketeer Artist Edition, you just look at his feather lines. They're magical. Yeah. And he achieved that with a brush. And you cannot get those kinds of lines with the modern tools today. And so
the thing
that's
is,
why
this is the way I look at it. Like inking today is like there's a certain language that comics have, right?
Right, exactly.
So what it is, it's kind of pseudo. So what they're doing is they're emulating an ink line, because if they don't, then it's not comic book art. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's pseudo. It's not really the real deal, because either they're emulating it digitally, or like you said, they're doing it with markers or something else.
Yeah, if they're inking a feather line, they'll actually draw the feather line with a pen and then fill in the black.
Yeah, exactly.
And somebody explained inking to me a long time ago, brush inking. It's almost like calligraphy. When you see someone lettering something with a lettering pen, where they're putting in thicks and thins in the different lettering fonts, that there's a combination of commitment and helter-skelter because you really aren't in total control of it. And that's
what I like
part
about
of
it.
the magic, is that what happens is you hope the line you have in your head ends up on the paper. And when it does, that's when, everything comes together.
Let me see if you agree with this, Gary. Like I played music when I was younger, right? So there's like live performances and stuff like that. And also, you guys, I've been dropping the link to Gary's book before I forget. So you guys can click on that, and you can that's the pre-launch page, and you can sign up for this book. So when the campaign launches, you'll be the first one in to back this book. But the thing is, like Gary, I started thinking about, okay, I write, I pencil, and I ink comic books. Like I do all those things. And so then I remember when I was having a hard time with like writing and drawing, and I was just kind of like, why is this hard? Like, why is like the first thing I put down not the right thing? You know what I mean? And
Right.
so then I started, because I was like, this should just be happening like the inks. You know what I mean? Like once you ink a line, that's the line. There's no really erasing it or going back and changing it. And so then I started thinking about it. It's like penciling and writing is a process. It's a creative process. That's why you write a little bit and you edit it, you go back, you rewrite it. When you draw, there's an eraser. You draw a little bit, you erase it. But when you ink, it's a performance. It's like,
yeah, you can't do all that.
Yeah, you can't erase. So the thing is, like, whatever you bring to that piece at that moment in time is the performance. That's the piece. And so one of the things is, like, when you're inking is like, if you stray from the pencil line, let's just say, and it's a series of hatching, at that point, you don't go back to the penciling. You adhere to your ink line, because otherwise that hatching will be all screwed up. You know what I mean? Like if you vary a little bit, that's the new performance. That's
right. And you could totally overwork it.
Right. But like if you're working from pencils. And so the thing is, like, whatever you put down at that moment, that becomes the performance. So if it's imperfection, if it's wrong, if it's perfect, if it's whatever, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go back with like a whiteout pen, white it out, and then re-ink it. So whatever it is,
Well, I mean, that's a really good way of putting it. It's like playing a note, in a concert. That note is out there. You can't take it back. Right. You can take ink lines back. The best example of that I saw when I was living in New York. I'm in Washington State now, and I originally grew up in California. When I was living in New York trying to break into comics, I would hang out at the DC office, and I remember Mike DiCarlo. This was in the 80s. Mike DiCarlo was inking a cover, a Carmine Infantino cover. Ooh. And I walked in on him while he was inking on this cover, and he had an electric eraser.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And he would ink some lines, and then he would get the eraser out, turn it on. It's like, you know how those things work. It's like basically sandpaper, where you're taking a layer off the paper to erase the ink. And so he would erase it, ink another line, erase it, ink another line, erase it. Apparently he was trying to ink a Carmine Infantino character that it was this female looking up. And so he was trying to get this jawline correct, which is almost impossible, especially a female face. And he was complaining that Carmine didn't know how to draw that. So why did he try to draw it? And instead of getting his own pencil out, he thought he could, pull it off in the ink, to the point to where he literally erased a hole in the cover stock.
Oh man!
And then he didn't know what to do, and that's when the sailor salty cursing kicked in, and that's when I left the room. So I don't know what he did. I mean, to fix that, the big, it was a quarter size hole in this cover.
It's hard to white out a hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like you have to use Bondo or stucco. and
You do
fill
that
it.
paste up.
I remember like
Sticker.
to that. I remember Scott Williams and I. We were friends, but we also had like this friendly competition, right? Because we were basically inking the same two guys, and we go back and forth, inking Jim Lee or Will Spataccio. And so I remember, like, he was looking at one of my pages. He's like, "There's no whiteout on this page," and I was like, "Well, I use whiteout for effects." He's like, "Oh." And so then what became the big deal is like it was kind of unspoken, but we didn't use whiteout. You know what I mean? Like we just didn't make mistakes anymore because
I'm the same way.
because we were like, one, we're not getting paid to fix things, and two, the artwork, the resale of the artwork, it looks so much better when there isn't
Exactly.
a bunch of whiteout
I'm the
on
same way.
page.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. The art that I work on, I'm always thinking about who's going to own the page, and I want to give them something that looks like original art. I don't want it covered in production type stuff, patches and whiteout. But yeah, I use whiteout if I make mistakes or for effects. But I try not to use it.
Yeah, effects was always like that was doable, right? Because that's not a mistake. That's an enhancement.
Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't like draw a line, then white it out, and then re-ink it.
So I had a Jim Lee Uncanny X-Men page that Scott Williams inked from issue 268, and Scott whited out an entire panel and then fixed it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was Wolverine. No, it was Captain America had his hands tied behind his back, and Wolverine cuts the rope with a sword, and you could see where Scott had messed up and went back in and had to kind of fix it. Probably
so do you think it was Scott,
weird.
or do you think like it was Jim saying, "I want to redo that"? Because those guys worked like right next to each other at Homage.
I always assumed it was his assistant inked something and effed it up, and then he had to go in and try to fix it.
Yeah, Scott didn't have assistants. Scott used my assistant. We did a lot of Scott's backgrounds and stuff in the day. Yeah.
Now, in the old days, they would take an X-Acto knife and cut out the offending artwork, and then put in a patch.
Yeah, remember there was that patch paper or whatever, that sticky paper, and they would just kind of rip it off and then paste it over the art and then redraw over that patch.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, you hold the artwork up to the light, you can see the original art that's underneath it.
Yeah. Or they would do like I've actually done this before, where they'll take a razor blade and they'll just actually scrape the paper and to scrape the ink off, and then put it back over top of it.
Yeah, I do that
like
sometimes too.
Yeah, for raindrops, like you can drag a razor, like a blade over it with, like, you can use like a metal ruler and just kind of drag it across, and you can do that. So it's kind of like it jumps. The razor will jump, so it'll look more organic for like rain than just like a perfect straight line, kind of thing.
When I
always sucked at that.
When I was working with Steve Rude on different projects, the Moth and Nexus, I was visiting him one time, and it was like Thanksgiving morning, and we had Spider-Man Artist Edition, the not the first John Romita. I think there were two Spider-Man Artist Editions. This was the first one. And most of that was inked by Jim Mooney. The pages that are in that book, there's a bunch of covers that Romita inked himself, but probably at least 90% of it was inked by Mooney. And so we were looking at all these, razor blade techniques, trying to figure out this, because Romita liked doing that. And so, was Mooney doing this? And so Steve pulls his phone out and says, "Why don't we call him and ask?" And I'm thinking, him? Who's him? So he calls Romita, and his wife answers the phone. Okay, remember, this is like Thanksgiving morning.
Oh man.
His wife answers the phone. Oh, hi, Steve. How are you? I'm great. I'm great. I'm sitting here with a friend. We're looking at this artist edition. We have some questions for John. But see, I could hear her, from Steve's phone. Okay, I'll get him. John, it's Steve. So John Romita, who knows what he's doing, family day,
Probably eating
on the
turkey.
phone, and he talks to us for 45 minutes.
Wow.
John, in this panel where Spider-Man is punching this dude, you have this razor blade effect. And he says, well, I gave my copy of that book away. I don't have, a copy to look at. So we would describe the panel and he'd say, oh yeah, that's, issue 23. And then he would describe it back to us. And then he would tell us the techniques that he was using. Because like they say, if Moody's doing the inking, that's just one example. Moody's doing the inking. Is he doing all this razor blading over these finished inked pages? Yeah. And some of them were just scratched the hell out of them. I mean, just all over the place to soften edges, for rain, for, different splash effects, for, all
ray
kinds
gun
of
effects. Yeah,
exactly. And he said, well, in those days I would come into Marvel and go into production, and I'd get the pages and sit them in front of me and get my razor blade out and just start, going through the pages and making corrections and scratching them up and, doing things like that.
Well, the thing is, like when I started, this was production art. This stuff was not like precious.
Right.
It was none of those things. Like when I got batches of Warlord pages that I penciled, and they used to strap them on to take the, photos to make the what is it called? Like the negative, I guess, because it was actually it's like a camera. Like they would take a picture of the artwork, then they would make a negative, and then from the negative they would make a print. Right. They would make a metal print for the rollers for the printing process, and so they would hook the stuff down, but with a razor blade they would cut the corners off. So they wouldn't lift the thing up. They would just cut the corners of the artwork off and lift it off. That's how they did it. They'd strap it on.
That
corners were I've seen a lot of comic pages like that.
Yeah, it's usually one on top and one on the bottom. And they'll just poop with the razor blade. So like whole issues of Warlord they're just mangled like that. And so, this was production artwork. Like you said, there'd be paste up over it. There'd be editor notes written, even sometimes in Blue Line would be written on the panel itself. Not even
they would write the note on the edge, but then they would draw a line and circle the
what they were talking about.
And so you'd see this. It's like just no respect for the artwork at all.
Yeah. Well, there was really no resale. That didn't come till later. But anyway, I want to wrap this up. We'll come back to your book before we call it a night. Gary, it looks fantastic, you guys. Links are in the description.
Awesome.
At this point, it's going to be at least 100 pages. I keep adding stuff to it. It's going to depend on how successful the campaign is, or how many pages it's going to be. But each page is going to be full page. I'm not going to do like 4 pieces of art per page. It's going to be 1 piece of art per page.
The sign up for the mailing list we got that listed.
Yeah, Bob just dropped it in. I've been dropping it in. Yeah, so you guys can click on that. Go sign up for the Brush of Destiny. Now let's get into something else.
Could I run by one more thing?
Yeah, we'll come back to it as well. But go ahead.
I was originally thinking about, and let me know what you think. Originally thinking about calling the book Black Lines Matter.
I endorse that.
I take from your reaction that was a good idea to not call it that.
Actually, you have my blessing, sir.
It would have been it would have done really, really well with Comicsgate.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else would have been like up your ass.
Yeah,
I endorse it, and if you're not using it, I will use it.
Go ahead. It's not
Pedro will steal it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Black ink lines do fucking matter. So there.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I make a T-shirt of that on what you just said and wear it at a con?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate the ink line, man. Let's
Oh my
do
god,
that.
dude, that would sell like
Yeah.
gangbusters.
Oh,
around
yeah.
here.
Actually,
It
you know
would
what?
sell.
It would be better a T-shirt that said like "Spot the Blacks." Just
Spot the blacks like hello.
Spot the blacks.
Yeah.
There's one.
It's
There's one.
spotting blacks.
Spot the Blacks. Yeah.
Spot the blacks.
Yeah,
There would
That
be a
sounds
guy like
racist.
this with his finger up. There's one. There's
How
one.
dare you, Patriot?
Oh god,
Yeah.
the chat's going. That sounds fantastic.
Well, I'm glad our token actually said that, not us.
exactly. I'm the safeguard, sir.
Approved
Yeah.
approved by the chat, it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we say it because we care. Marcus Killigrew says I signed up. Yeah, are you? So you guys go sign up for Gary's new book. And
Yeah, I have to shout out to Marcus. He's been supporting me from the beginning. So thank you, Marcus.
Marcus
Yeah,
is
we got
awesome.
CG's got a lot of great people,
Yep.
a lot of support, a lot of love. But let's get into it. There's a couple. Are these things called commercials anymore, or are they just like propaganda. Spots? Yeah.
Oh, I got another one. I
Lectures.
just found.
Oh, you got another
from
one. Well,
Adidas.
let's get into the Ford one first, and we'll play this and see what everybody has to say. What is that? It's this one here. Pride knows no bound. It's-
Isn't pride a sin?
Yeah, and it knows no bounds.
wait, come on, work, son of
Come
a-
on.
It's not working. Wait a minute.
I'm trying to turn it up.
Okay, whatever. It's just
It's
music
not
playing.
working.
There's nobody talking.
Yeah.
It's probably better that they can't hear it. They can't hear it.
Yeah. So if you notice, okay, this dirty truck goes through this water. Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Hi.
Hey, there's that thing at the end of the road.
Are these for EV trucks or are these gas driven? Redefine EV.
It doesn't say if it's EV or
They run on glitter. That's
Those are soy farmers. They're going out to milk their product.
Okay, let's watch this again in case you guys weren't paying attention. Okay, there's a dirty car, but also the dirt almost looks pink.
yeah.
Up, and here comes a dude in another dirty truck.
Mhm.
Hi.
Hey.
I like
Are we
how
gonna boink?
they sexualize the trucks, right? So
Yeah,
one
boink,
is
boink.
obviously a guy, and one is a trans.
Another guy.
Another
One
guy.
is a guy and the other is another guy.
Love knows no gender.
And they're going to the rim.
Yeah, they're advertising the new transmission.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah,
Love.
exactly. Mm,
Okay, here we go. The big reveal, you guys. The big reveal.
yeah.
Oh shit! Snap.
And then comes the drummer. Did you notice that, Art? Like when the colors reveal, the drummers come in hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
All right,
I don't know what
all
this
right,
song
you
is.
guys.
It's awful.
This isn't a gag. It's an actual commercial.
No,
This is
it's an actual
awful,
commercial.
man.
So tough in rainbow. But there at the end, you see that?
Yeah. So
Pedro's
Yeah,
just
we're all-
I'm done, man.
We're all stupefied.
Yeah.
It's just,
Dude,
I'm just like,
I'm getting a new car. I was considering.
I just think what's amazing to me is we're sexualizing vehicles. These are fucking cars. These are not people. These are not human beings. Like all of a sudden, what this car is like LGBTQ? Like this
Come on.
car is what transgender? It's gay? Like it's a fucking car.
What's the demographic that they're going for? Are these Bud Light drinkers?
come on, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
you never wanted
Yeah.
to stick your dick in a truck?
Yeah, there should be
Oh,
a gay farmer.
Stop it, Bob. You know I have. You know I have, Bob.
Oh,
That's a mighty nice looking tailpipe you got there.
I got a
Mhm.
tailpipe with my name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird. You know, like there's those guys that put those nuts hanging from their
No,
toe.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was weird already.
Those
Yeah,
are my
that-
people, man. Those are the rednecks. Yeah, I don't know where that
Yeah.
came from, but that's weird too.
Yeah, so there's that weirdness, and then there's now this transgender rainbow flag painted on a truck. So I look at Todd. Todd, you need to talk, man. What are your thoughts?
Dumbfounded because you're right. Why are we sexualizing everything? Muppets, cartoons. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Where does it end? You know,
It's like,
It
you know,
should
like
end with-
how somebody ruts become so freaking important?
Yeah, dude.
You know,
I know where it ends, and it's
you know where this began. I've been talking about this for a while now. This began with participation trophies.
yeah,
And when you stop disciplining your kids, because when
Yeah.
your kid comes in the room and says, "Dad, look at this tail. I'm gonna wear this tail to school tomorrow," you gotta say, "Not happening." But you wear it around the house, have fun. You don't go, "Oh, your tail looks so great. You look like a real dragon." No,
dude.
you have to discipline your kids. You don't turn them into everything you do is okay.
You go, girl.
You know what I did? This is going to sound kind of cruel, but
Mm.
my daughter saved up. She was really young, and she saved up for a blue wig because she liked anime and stuff, and she was probably like 9 or 10 or something like that. And so she said, "I want to wear this to school." And I said, "You can wear it to school." And I said, "But you have to accept responsibility for it." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "People are going to laugh at you, and people are going to make fun of you for wearing this." And she goes, "Well, then," like she's getting all indignant. I go, "But," I said, "you can't get mad." And she goes, "Why not?" I said, "Because you're doing something outside the norm, and people are going to make fun of you. So by knowing it and still doing it, you're subjecting yourself. You're the one that's doing it, not them. You already know how they're going to react to you. So you can't force somebody to react in a way that you can't control people like that." I said, "So go ahead and do it if that's what you really want to do. But just know people are going to make fun of you, and this is probably going to be the outcome." And she did. She wore it to school, and that was the end of the discussion. She never brought
paid
it
the
up.
price.
Nothing ever happened. There was never a conversation. And it was like, it's socially, things will correct. They'll self-correct in a social environment. That's why what they call bullying now, it's self-correction. It's not. If you want to look at it in the most cynical, harsh way, then maybe. But let's just say, okay, somebody makes fun of you. "Hey, Four Eyes, you wear glasses." No shit, I wear glasses. So what? Let's move on. You know what I mean? Like,
dude.
stating the obvious, or like, if
Four
you're like,
Eyes.
yeah, or if you're like, "Hey, you suck at sports," it's like, yeah, but guess what? I kick your ass in mathematics. You know what I mean? Like this is self-correction. This is like society saying, well, you could like sports, you can like to play sports, but you're never going to really be good at it. But guess what? You're really good at mathematics. So that's kind of society gearing you and putting you into a direction that maybe you should go, instead of being delusional and keep thinking that you're the world's greatest soccer player because everybody props you up. And like Todd, they give you participation trophies, and they do all this lying shit to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they think it's empowering, but it's not really empowering to lie to somebody. You know
I mean,
what
I get it. I get it, dude. Like, we had this kid in school. Like, he has a huge head, and we called him Tumor. And and it is like the Tumor grew up to be a doctor, and he has 3 kids now and a huge head. Like, nothing really happened to him. Why? Because he had character.
And who knows? Maybe that's not the only head that's huge.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, his kids have huge heads too. So God bless you, Tumor, wherever you are. I hope you find a hat someday.
he never grew into his enormous head.
No, never.
The body never caught
Huge
up.
noggin.
Huge nugget. Well, he's a
Pedro,
doctor.
I don't know if we're quite on the same page here.
We're not.
It was a fun story.
Yeah.
No, that's a Seinfeld episode, right?
Yeah.
Stretching out borrowing a sweater and stretching out the neck.
Yeah.
Stanza.
Yeah, you got some man hands there.
Yeah, some man hands.
Yeah. But the thing is, those things you have no control over.
Sorry about that.
I got a big head. Okay, well, we got one more. We got one more. This video, this stuff is great because it's bringing some levity. Okay, here, this is another video. I guess infomercial. I don't know what the hell these things
What's that?
are. You know, size this. Where is the full size button? Oh, there you go.
There you
Boom.
That's what she said.
go. Yeah,
We got to rewind it.
I saw that.
It's just music. I don't think there's any dialogue to this. I can't turn it up.
No.
What a sexy beast. Look at that. Look at that
Yeah,
figure.
that was easy.
Okay, this actor. I guess this is an actor.
Oh no!
Wow.
This
I
happened
love
to me so many
myself.
times when I was drinking.
I'm gonna guess this is a dude.
God, I love myself.
I was like, what does this have to do with anything, man?
Isn't this
Back
sending the
arm
wrong
front.
message? You look better in armor.
Okay. You know something that's interesting to me in this?
What's that?
You see the picture of her with the monster in the bag. It's like, are they in a relationship or something?
No, it was more like a work relationship.
Well, wait till the
I don't
very
know, man. They're awful close.
wait till the
This
very
is a
end.
this is a soap commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for
Yeah,
Dove
Dove
soap.
soap.
Yeah.
Wait till the very end, and they show like
So
the
that's the hill that they're gonna fight on of
I don't know,
unrepresented
man.
females in video games.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Have they-
There's a
have they
lot to
looked
cover
at-
here. Let's finish the video though.
Yeah. Play the rest of the way. It gets worse.
Unreal Engine, nice.
And women in
Male-
games. All three of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Have they
make
taken a look at
virtual-
what the guy characters look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody looks like those guy characters.
Bingo.
either.
Okay, hold on a second. When you're playing when you're playing a game, let's say it's a golf game or an NBA, and you're able to create your own character, do you make him look like you?
Hell no.
No.
Exactly.
No.
You make him 6'9", 300 pounds of solid muscle.
With an 8-pack, yeah.
Exactly. So
Look at
where are they going with this?
Look
Dude.
at that troll in the jean shorts.
That's the
She's-
real.
her
That's the
shirt
real.
doesn't
That's
even
the real
fit her.
chick.
That's
that
like the real
character
model
based
for it,
off
right?
of, Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Okay, women see a hot chick in a video game or a comic or something, they go, "That's so wrong. That doesn't represent me." Blah blah blah. Guys see a buff dude in a movie like Arnold in Conan and go, "Damn, I need to hit the gym and buy a sword."
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
At least
that's
I got a
motivation.
sword.
But that's the
Exactly.
thing.
It's motivation.
Why do
I
you
think
need
I
to
think
see
women
yourself
used
like
to.
this?
I think women used to as well. But this
Yeah.
whole thing where you empower the lowest common denominator and you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be okay with it. I mean, there is a certain level of unhealthiness when you're that level of obese. So what you're saying is like this is a really unhealthy trend to be enabling. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be your fighting weight, to be healthy, that's a good thing. But what this is saying is just kind of like, don't worry about it.
Participation trophies.
Yeah. There you go. It's
You're
that.
part
No,
of
you're,
life. Be proud of how fat you are.
you're beautiful
Hey.
at any size, anything. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, guys, it's like, oh, he's got little dick energy and blah blah blah. Shut the.
Yeah.
Hey,
Little dickhead.
Yeah,
Why?
Pedro.
Why does? What's up?
Pedro, I got a question for you, Pedro. Hold on.
Shoot.
Does this girl have a big head? Is that a big head on a?
I wouldn't call her tumor. No.
She's not
that-
tumor.
no,
Okay,
she's not
I just
tumor,
wanted
but-
to check. Go ahead.
Yeah, but still, like, why does this matter? That's the thing. Like,
Especially to Dove soap.
Well,
yeah,
and-
she's
what's his name? Art Roy had a good point.
what's that?
Big women use more soap.
That's true.
True.
But I don't even understand what they're saying. So then, okay, so this person in the video game is real, and like this is some kind of like Matrix world that she was in,
I don't know.
because then they ring this bell like, oh, the filming's over. There's the green screen. Now
Yeah.
it's back to the dressing room. Like none of this fucking even makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No,
Make
it doesn't.
The
No, and
concept
it's-
is very convoluted,
yeah.
man.
No,
Very
it's not even
convoluted concept.
not even virtue signaling. It's like GJ says, it's virtual signaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even is she a real person? Is she a video game character? Like this has nothing to do with reality in any way, shape, or form.
No.
The other underlining message that I'm seeing here is Dove really wanting video game women to bathe more. Is that the deal?
Yeah. No, I think what they're doing here is messaging by feeling. So it doesn't really have to make any sense. You know what I mean? They're trying to
Yeah,
get
good
people by
point.
how you
I agree.
feel.
Good.
And
point.
if you are a fat
Well-
woman, yeah, you should probably bathe more using Dove soap.
Yeah,
They-
it's just, dude, I don't know.
They
This
didn't
is-
want to pay an actress, so
Yeah.
they had the CGI, because they
Well-
could have switched to a human actress, but then they would have to pay her every time the commercials.
But
played.
I will say the CGI video part of it will get way more attention for Dove soap than if they used a real actress.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Well,
like-
I just want to throw this out here too. I mean, Pedro does animation. This
Yeah.
is very expensive.
Oh.
This is
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh, wait, this is
spot.
like this is illumination level animation right now. You can see like the rendering, how the lighting on the skin. That's called surface scattering. That adds a couple of $1,000 to the bill. So yeah, this is not like high-end animation, but it's like a very expensive TV series level animation. The hair simulation looks good too. So
There's
yeah,
no
this is-
royalties though, right? There's no
No.
royalties.
No,
You know
it's a
what?
commercial.
It's-
No.
It
Dove's
looks-
got money
It
to
looks
spend.
expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks well done.
Yeah. Oh, wait, but you can do this with Blender, no problem. Like with their EV,
But
environment render.
any
Yeah, you can do
animation
that.
studio would overcharge Dove for this.
Yeah,
You are missing-
exactly.
You are missing your cue because this is where you say, "Come to my show and I'll show you how to do this."
No, I'm not
Yeah.
touching. I'm not touching CGI, Todd. Like I'm trying to rescue 2D animation. That's my mission. Because this thing, like I'm not saying anyone can do this, but this kind of animation is kind of destroying the history of what animation was. And this is what I want to teach people, because a lot of people will see this like, oh, I'm an animator, but there's a lot of like little mistakes here and there, and I'm talking about movement that
Mhm.
people don't pay attention to because it's all mocap. You know what I mean? It's all like we put like sensors and an actor, and then we wrap that information and transfer it into the character. Like, no, I want to teach people how to do it from scratch.
So
Okay,
is this motion
let's
cap
get back
and-
to let's get back to the topic.
Yeah. I mean, you brought this up to yourself.
Yeah,
Art.
Art, you asked the question.
Yeah.
Tangents.
I asked the question like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the thing, no, actually, Todd brought it out. Todd said,
Hmm.
"This is the part where you promote yourself."
Yeah. Oh,
I
actually,
didn't do it. I
Yeah, you didn't do it.
Blame Todd.
Why are
You
you
guys,
calling me out?
you guys are
You're the
tough
one-
on each
you're the
other.
one
I mean,
who's
I
Oh,
noticed
yeah,
in other
nothing.
broadcasts, you
Oh.
guys don't cut each other any slack at
Oh,
all.
tr-
You
trust
guys
me,
don't-
not at all.
Hey, that's how
You
that's how you build thick skin, man. We around here we don't have thick skin. We have freaking armor.
Well,
Yeah,
That's
you
how
guys
come
are-
you know you're a pontificator. But let's get back into this. Okay, so this woman, okay, this pretend woman that we're supposed to is a real person, right?
Yeah.
She looks in the mirror and now she gets a brainstorm, right? That she's gonna go and she's gonna be herself in the next video game, whatever
Yeah.
the hell this is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, she has the control, right? Like,
Yeah.
like the thing is, people pay you to be a certain thing. People pay you to do a certain like type of work. You don't get to decide that. The company that's paying you does. So this woman gets to decide that she's not going to wear the armor anymore. She's not going to be the objectified hot woman. Like, there's so much wrong with this.
Yeah.
There's levels of wrong in this. Okay, she's not going to go back to her old self.
Yeah.
Screw you, sexy chick. All right, now 75% of girls feel underrepresented in video games.
And
There's a
why is that my
character-
problem?
There's a character, one of the most popular video game characters of all time. Her name is Laura Croft. It's called Tomb Raider. So shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Indeed,
Tomb Raider,
all these things are supposed to be
skinny and big
aspirational. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm
Rob?
underrepresented in video games.
Yeah.
I don't see,
Lara Croft doesn't look like a normal girl. That's
yeah,
why they're
I don't
saying they're
think someone in
underrepresented.
their twilight years wielding a heavy sword and blasting zombies.
But
Exactly.
you should.
Yeah. What?
Okay, so-
I need more black samurai.
You know what's weird about this too is they just show the dove symbol. They don't spell out the name. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like they're trying to hide it.
Yeah.
We partnered with Unreal Engine. What is Unreal Engine? I don't even know what
Oh,
that is.
Unreal Engine. It's
It's the new
basically where you
software.
play the game. So Unreal Engine will allow you to put all your assets, your characters, your animation, your environments, and yeah, basically it's how like the engine for the game. There are several engines.
Okay. So this is like you can create your own character so you can play the game with that character? Is that
Actually, no. You would put your assets within the engine, so the engine will run the game.
Okay.
Normally, you will use other software to create the characters and whatnot.
okay?
But
And,
the
and
engine
so
will
then this
keep
is we partner with Unreal Engine and
Mhm.
women in games to change this ...
Well, hold on a second, Art.
What's
What's
this?
Women in Games? Is that an
Oh, it's a-
organization, or
it's
they
a
just
charity.
making a generalization about women?
It should be
Sounds-
women that play games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weirdly written.
Sounds like
But
an
they
NGO.
capitalized it, so it's like a title. Women in
Yeah.
Games. That could be an organization.
That's
It's
true.
like an NGO.
Yeah. That's true.
And now she's a bigger target. So everybody loses.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, her
make
hit
virtual
target's
beauty.
larger.
Yeah, so let's make virtual beauty. Like this is such a weird.
This is silly. This is
Like there was anything real about that little bit that we saw her blasting a monster with her sword. There's anything real
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
No, it's just really bizarre. It's virtue signaling in the weirdest of ways. These things are becoming more and more elaborate as we go. They are doubling and tripling down on this woke stuff. I heard that Disney had just signed with an advertising company or whatever for their Disney Plus, and this is an overtly woke company. So this woke company is going to, I guess, interject advertisements and things into their programming. It's like we thought this stuff was kind of going away.
No, it's
It's
not.
man.
Someone's getting paid, man. That's
No.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and like someone actually put on an article, it was like, why are so many, like we asked the question, why are so many of these companies seeming like willing to follow Bud Light off the edge of the cliff? And it's
ESG
because
money.
well, it's not just that. A lot of these tech companies and these large corporations are putting pressure on them to do this stuff.
Yeah.
They're putting pressure on
Because
us,
of-
like you're
because
going to
of
do
the
this or else.
ESG. I
Yeah.
found out that like BlackRock and these ESG banks and loan companies are actually, if you have low ESG scores, they will reject loans and bonds to your business. That's major. So it's not just about having good ESG scores so you can get investors into your company. Now they can actually control the growth
The banks,
of
yeah.
your company by rejecting loans, because the only way you can usually expand your company is loans. And so almost every business has they carry a certain amount of debt, right? And then that debt they use, to build the company or to do whatever. Well, now if you can't get that money to expand your company, then you're doomed. So
Yeah.
then now they can completely control you in a way that's less voluntary, like, oh, well, I want to get a good ESG score so I can get BlackRock
Yeah.
on my side. It goes beyond that. Now it's sinister. Now it's
Yeah.
like, we will penalize you. We will hurt your company by rejecting loans. They
The
can
thing is,
destroy any business they
Yeah.
want now.
They're playing with liquidity. So basically, companies would be valued like in billions of dollars, but a lot of that value is hard assets. but the liquidity, how you manage, payrolls and how you pay your bills, it's a very smaller amount. So basically, companies depend on bills to collect later, so they need the loans. And what
Yeah.
they're doing now with this is basically they're playing with the liquidity of companies. Like, you need to push this agenda, or else it's just, dude, it's gangster.
Or we'll just put you out of business. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll just reject the loan. We won't give you any
Mhm.
money, and
Yeah.
so then you can flounder. So yeah, this is a really scary time. So this stuff isn't fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just about the window dressing. It's not about, like, soap company trying to empower women in video games, or this stuff. It really is about sending a message, to this new paradigm. And oh my gosh, there's so many levels to all this stuff. We should just do a show on
Oh
that,
my God,
with
dude, I've
with
got like 8 of them in the
investing,
chamber.
with control, with all the
You-
propaganda
We need
for.
tinfoil hats for that one.
I don't even
Yeah.
think it used to be like put a tinfoil
Yeah,
hat
yeah,
on. Now
yeah.
it seems
It's normal.
factual.
Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do a round robin. Let's do some promotion. Screw all this stuff. CG's got its own thing going here. We don't need Marvel. We don't need DC. We don't even need soap anymore. We're just gonna wash
No.
our faces with mud.
With,
We're gonna be
tallow.
real men. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Rub
We
some
know,
dirt on
we-
it.
With beef tallow.
Well,
With
they
me-
got those mud
Ew.
baths. Let's take a
Yeah.
mud bath. I never understood that as a kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bob, you got anything? Any promotion? Anything you want to?
Not yet. I'm starting to work on something. I don't know if it's going to take me 10 years, but I'll let you know. But no, like, guys, the links that we're dropping here and all the links that we drop all the time, we really need you guys to, like, tweet these things out. Use your social media. Help us promote this show. Help us promote these books and the creators that we bring on here. A lot of these guys, like Clint, his book's been shadow banned. It's not getting the traction that it deserves. And this is your guys' show. Like I said, you come in here, you say stuff to us in the chat, give us things to talk about, and that's what Comics Gate's about. We rely on it's comic book creators for fans, and who are fans making content for fans.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
But,
well said.
well
Okay,
said.
Pedro, this is your
Okay.
time to shine. I saw
Can
the
you
link.
please
You want me to click it?
share my video right now? So
Whoa,
this
it
is
froze.
this is the intro for the animation school. The 4 first videos are going up on Friday. I'm already working on them, so follow them. There's gonna be a live stream that's starting not this Friday but next Friday, so we can review classes. And if you want to learn how to animate classically, pencil and paper, I'm gonna be going over the software we're gonna use, which is OpenTunes, go in interface, and go straight into the exercise. And also, Back Tropical Magics and Fund My Comic. It's a second chance campaign. The book's already funded, so it's just a matter of getting the money to print it, and you get the book on your hands very quick.
Is that the one on Kickstarter?
Fund My Comic. Screw Kickstarter.
Oh, Fund My Comic. Okay.
Fund My Comic,
I don't
yeah.
have a link for that in the description, you guys. Did you put one up, Bob, for
I think it did put
Fund
one.
My
I don't know.
Comic? Oh, there. No, we got the Kickstarter one.
Kickstarter. Okay, let me find the Fund My Comic. So you can guys see it. Sorry. Yeah, dude. Like, it's just Kickstarter. It was just as it was just guys that I'm trying to tell me, like, dude, if you pay me X amount of dollars, I can take care of it. So, like, just
Edwin says Fund My Comic is the place to be. So
I got
Yes,
I
sir.
got the link for it.
Pedro is setting the trend
Yes,
here.
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, so we're gonna end with Gary, but what do you got, Rob?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought no order.
We're doing a round
Death
robin.
Raider.
We're gonna promote our stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, everybody check out Death Raider. The link is in the comments, and it's a Marsoc Marine builds out an armor to fight an alien invasion. That's pretty much what it is, and it's shit's getting blown up, hot chicks, cyborgs, aliens, lots of gunfights, and he has plasma blades that look an awful lot like Wolverine's claws, but they're not Wolverine's claws.
No, they are not. No, the book looks fantastic. Rob Hunter, if you guys don't know, I mean, he's a seasoned comic book vet, and he's inked some of the best books out there, and he's been beat up. He's a war veteran. Look at him, he
Look at
limps.
me.
He's
He's
only
a
got
war
he's got half a foot. His middle finger on both hands are missing.
Oh, wait, they're missing?
Yeah, they're missing. Yeah. And so, yeah,
Broken down,
one
beaten
eye
down.
is lame, and he can't hear. He's got
What?
a translator.
Huh?
He's got a translator right now. So you guys, you got to back Death Raider. It is not Death Hunter. It is Death Raider. So let's F some shit up and back Bob Hunter. Rob Hunter's
How dare you?
Hey,
How
Bob.
dare you?
I knew I was going to screw something up. Hey, Todd, Mulrooney, Dooney, what do you got for us?
You can share it.
Where is it?
Just something and it's, granted, it's a homage card that I did.
Homage.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this is an
Instagram.
Alan Davis homage card.
Oh.
So I can't take all the credit, but that's
you should.
I knew who to sell this to once I finished it, because I have somebody who wants everything Wolverine. But I posted it, and a lot of people offered me a lot of money for this card. So
That's cool.
Nice, dude.
So
That's a
do
lot of
another
detail
one.
on a card, man.
Yeah,
Do a
there
black
is.
and white version. Do another one.
Yeah, do another one. Exactly. See,
Yeah,
Bob
just
knows.
Black and white.
Yeah,
And do another
Oh,
one.
I
that's black,
might,
white,
I might,
gray.
because there's somebody else that I'm, that I talk to on a daily basis that I want that card. Da, 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 da. So I might do another version, and I'll change the costumes or whatever. Do
You can just
something.
blow up Wolverine, 'cause especially the guy who likes to buy all the Wolverine, make it just all Wolverine, but the same pose.
I did that same pose in a bigger card. If you look back, you'll see it.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
I know.
you guys,
do it
you
again.
guys have
Do it
just renamed Rob Hunter, so now he's Bobby Hunter. So,
Bobby
Oh,
Bobby Hunter.
My
Yeah.
nickname at CrossGen was Bobby C.
so it's Bobby Hunter, and it's
Bobby
Death
Hunter?
Hunter, the comic.
Bobby Hunter
But-
sounds like a country singer. Yeah.
Before we move on to somebody else, I want to. Gary brings up Dave Stevens a lot, and I'm a huge Dave Stevens fan. And
Who
he's
isn't?
got some like recreations where he inked over Dave Stevens artwork that are up on Comic Art Fans. Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah, I did a ton of Dave Stevens recreations.
Hey, oh,
Now-
man,
Well,
dude.
I
got
want
a
to give a
question for
shout
you,
out.
Gary.
I want to hey, settle down. I want to I want to give a shout out to Mandy Summers. She's back. She is CG and she is rocking it hard. So she has a YouTube channel. She's got a couple books that she's got going. She is the real deal.
Hey,
So,
hi, Mandy.
yeah, go support Mandy Summers in any way you can. So good to see you here, Mandy. Take care. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
I'd like to ask Gary where he puts Zenzoic Tales issue 13 and 14 in the pantheon of inked comics.
I'm sorry that your audio was
Zenzoic
jumping.
Tales issue 13 and 14. Where would you put them? Because they're absolutely beautiful. I know you must have seen these two comics.
Yeah, I think what Mark Schultz is doing now with his split hair brush inking, I haven't seen anybody else do this. He's taken a technique, and I keep referring to Frazetta used and some other illustrators, and then expanded on it way beyond what anybody else has done, to where earlier I was talking about gray tones. Mark Schultz uses his split hair dry brush for gray tones. So he'll do that like for a whole background.
Yeah.
And I've done a couple of Mark Schultz recreations, and it's very time consuming. I don't know how he does it. So yeah, Mark Schultz is an amazing illustrator.
Wasn't Bernie Wrightson a split hair guy too? He could
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
technique. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
I heard about that, it boggled my mind. I was like, you can't do that. That's it can't be done like that. That kind of technique. I would love to see it done Gary, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do not. I hitch my ride to your wagon, and right currently I'm also on Graybeards. A lot of my work, Todd mentioned, is on Comic Art Fans. A lot of it is up there, so that's a good way to get a hold of me or to buy original art or commissions or whatever is Comic.
Well, I was just thinking that you should actually do a live stream where you use the split hair technique, because I've never seen it done. You know what I mean? Like I've heard about it, but I've never seen it done.
I get asked that a lot.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Don't show anyone. Keep it
Split hair
secret.
technique sounds like
See,
the
that's
5 finger
Rob-
death punch.
No. Rob,
Yeah, I get asked that a lot to do how-to videos. I'm just not set up to do that, with cameras and all that stuff. So no, I'm dragging my feet trying to stay out of the 21st century.
What camera are you using right now?
How much do you love kicking Rob, Art?
Rob was saying shit that I didn't like. So,
because I was saying, like, what's the camera you got right now?
My iPhone.
Oh, your iPhone, dude. You could actually you just get a mount for your iPhone, put it over your desk, and that's all.
Yeah,
you need.
I thought about trying that because this is a new system that with this iPhone, and I may be able to do what you're saying.
Because I'm gonna say, like, these guys can tell you, man. Between a lot of you old school inkers and whatnot, I've been trying to get you guys all together to do a stream or anything, streams, short videos or something, passing these friggin' skills on, because when you guys are gone, they're gone, man, and they're not coming back.
Well,
and I think the future needs this stuff.
That's the way Rob wants it. Rob wants to take to the grave.
I have a tripod right next to me with a video camera already set up, so I could show exactly how I do everything.
But you just choose not to. Yeah, you choose
I will not.
You're a selfish bastard.
Yeah, Bobby Hunter.
I am a terrible person.
Yes.
If you show somebody what you can do, they'll just replace you and steal your job at a lower rate, dude.
Yeah,
exactly. Or just because they're friends with somebody and maybe it happened, even though they were still a shitty inker, they're better at networking.
I love talking to Rob. Rob's a knucklehead. You're so crazy, man.
I will tell no one anything.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, man. In all seriousness, Gary, man, there are people there. They are starving for that kind of content, man.
Yeah, and Bob's one of them. But Rob is not going to give it up. Bobby is not going to give it up. So
if Bob asks me questions, I will tell him.
Right, Bob's right, because there were tools that I didn't know how to use, and I never really figured out. But then the content, like Richard Friend and stuff like that, showing me like drills, these are things you can't find. How to like warm up your hand and things like that. That was all priceless, because then I got better at those things. How to hover. Like I was,
how we got better,
Todd?
Todd, you know how we got better? We just did it. We had no video.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn.
You're going to tell me somebody didn't show you how to file a nib?
Nobody showed me any of that.
I still don't know how to file a nib.
Yeah,
I never showed Rob how to file a nib. That's why he doesn't know how.
I stole 95% of everything I know from just drooling over Art's inks on Dan Jurgens and Jim Lee in the 90s and like emulating every line work.
But like
that's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt that I want. I'll file your nib.
There you go, Art. You can put Inko in the corner and just says Inko saying, "I'll file your nib."
I'll file your nib. Like that nib needs filing.
That sounds gay.
Take us home, man.
How about you, Clint? What do you got for us, man? I know you have a live campaign going right now.
Oh, Christ! Yeah, I didn't even know we were doing it. There was a little background drama that I had to go take care of quickly here, so I might have missed a cue or two, but I can share this, and there we go. That should be to you, Art.
Well, you guys, the link is in the description, so click on that sucker, and Clint is going to walk you through the campaign.
Superiors, baby. And actually, we got a backer in the chat tonight, so hail the chat, and love all you guys back in the Superiors. This is my This is my love letter to the superhero comics I grew up on in the 80s and 90s and the 70s, really. Justice League, Avengers, the Superiors is the greatest superheroes of their universe. The story is set with the backdrop of the multiverse. Tons of action, adventure, the kind of superheroes we all grew up on. I've got a ton of fun extras. Variant covers. Yellow Flash has been a huge support of the book. I got a variant for him. I love all the old Wildstorm artists, Jim Lee, Travis Charest, J. Scott Campbell, an homage to X-Men 268, one of my favorite comics of all time. If you're looking for some fun nods to old comics that you grew up on, John Byrne, an homage to Fantastic Four, 249, and just a ton of fun artwork. There's also 2 supplemental books, the Superiors Early Visions, and there's going to be a Superiors Who's Who book that gives you a little bit of background and some of the origin stories. Because it is a team book, there's lots of characters in it. So lots of fun stuff to look at. Definitely check out the Superiors. We had a good 30-day closeout. We're over 16,000 now. We're in our second 30 days. Yep, back cover C. Cover C has been popular. The homage to X-Men 268 was really that was genius on my part, because that has really been one of the most popular books. So, so you definitely want to jump on that. But we are in the second 30 days. The closeout's coming up, and you definitely want to jump on this book now so you don't miss out on it. But just lots of fun superhero action adventure, great art, and lots of extras. So.
You know what makes the Jim Lee homage cover is that knocked out background.
Yeah,
like if that wasn't there, it wouldn't seem authentic. But when that's there, it's like, oh shit,
The blue Zipatone, it just sends that for some reason.
Yeah, I want to get. Wait, hold on. What the fuck's in the? Hey, listen, some person, you didn't have to go potty mouth on us. This is a family show. You didn't have to go that far with it, but I will show you what a nib is. This is a nib.
That was. Don't tell them the number. Don't tell them the number, Art. It's not a 102.
This is a numberless nib, and so what you do?
Has it been hand altered?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I file this down. You dip it in ink, and then you just kind of stroke it. So that's what it is.
A flexible tip.
You stroke it, and what's up, my nibber?
Wow. Stroke me.
You didn't have to go that far. You guys are like on the edge here.
Yeah, you guys are savages.
File the nib. Who's the manufacturer? Hunt. It is the Hunt company. Okay, so let's. I got. Let's do Gary, and then I'll wrap everything up. So, I'm gonna post your link, and here's Gary's link here. Wait, there you go. So, Gary, talk about your book.
This is my love letter to Comicsgate. It's basically, it is my first crowdfunding project. My goal is to write and illustrate a graphic novel. This artwork is 99% finished, so I figured that it would be easier for my first crowdfunding project to be almost done. And hopefully my goal is, if I am successful with this campaign, I'm able to fund the graphic novel. So that's why I'm putting out an art book first.
Good idea.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you know what? Art books do pretty well, and this is exceptional. So it's all going to be black and white, you guys. So it's going to. I mean, nobody really has the cojones to put out a book like this. I mean, it's all black and white artwork. It's all inked artwork. So it's going to be a beautiful coffee table book for everybody. Is it going to be like magazine size? Is it going to be oversized?
Yes, that's my goal. I would like to make it 9x12 if I could, but again, everything depends on how successful the campaign is.
Yeah, so he says each one of these pieces is gonna be full page, so you're not gonna have to look at little, inset images or anything like that. These are gonna be probably, like frameable pieces of, every page is gonna be frameable piece of art. So here it is. Here's the link right here, you guys. I put it in the description. So go by and sign up for Brush with Destiny. It's Gary Martin's new book. That's coming out. When are you going to drop this book on us?
Good question. Aaron has been kind of walking me through this whole process. Aaron Lepresti, he's telling me I should wait as long as possible to build up the email sign up list, and that's what I'm trying to do now. So, a couple of weeks ago, I said a couple of weeks, and now I'm saying a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be at least a couple more weeks. Todd?
Are you giving anything away for the sign up? Like an early sign up?
Yeah, anyone who signs up gets sneak peeks at artwork that I haven't shown anywhere else.
Oh.
So you do get, like stuff that have not posted on Facebook or Comic Art Fans or places like that has not been seen before.
Well, some person has some great insight. I don't know how he knows this, but that nib art holds was made from a meteorite, right, that killed the dinosaurs. I want to say this. Okay, hold on. We're going to do something fun here. All right. You see this nib right here, you guys? If I can get one backer to back Black and White at any tier level, I will mail this to you.
No
this
way.
Kind meteorite nib. This was made out of meteorite that killed the dinosaurs, you guys. So this is priceless, and I'll give it away for the price of one backer. So
and that pin is guaranteed that you will not ever be able to ink like art.
It's guaranteed. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So you guys, if you want that nib back now, this offer is only going to be valid for the rest of this show. So once the show is over, no more.
You want that
All
nib?
right. So yeah, you guys check out Gary Martin's new book he's got. Let me present. I'm going to show you what I have to offer. So this is what I'm talking about as far as backing to get the nib. So
let me know how that nib thing goes, Art. If you get good money for that, I'm going to start selling my art supplies.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's funny. Okay, so this is Black and White Volume 2, Man versus Machine. In a world where law and order is often blurred to gray, justice can only be the three dots, black and white. We just hit another threshold, which is 125. So I think we did that yesterday or this morning, actually. So we got 1,487 backers. I want to thank each and every one of you for helping me bring this dream to light. This is my 1994 Create Your Own that I did for Image. I brought it back with 2 issues, Volume 1, Volume 2, which is the Epic Origin Saga. So this campaign here will wrap it up. So Volume 2 will be the end of the Origin Saga. So this is the main cover. We have the Kenneth Rocafort cover. We got a Joe Bennett cover, and we got the High Octane book, which was done by, I don't know, Pedro Ang. The brilliant animator artist did a animation style for black and white. This thing looks so cool. And Von Klaus is the writer. So the second printing of Volume 1, since we sold out, will have this cover on it. And we still have a few of these Greg Capullo variants left. So you guys come by, click the link in the description, check it out. And I'm going to show you a few pages. I put this in the I put this in the update, but I'll show it off here as well. Click, pull the lever, not that lever. There we go. So are you guys seeing this? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is I'm kind of jumping around now. I I did the first chapter and the last chapter, so now I'm kind of filling in the middle chapter of the book. So closing in on the finale, and just really happy with these pages. So I thought I'd show them off. So Whitney, aka White, has been running amok, and once again, Reed's got to pull her out of a bad situation. And so there's a lot of explosions, a lot of mayhem. To coin a phrase from Rob Hunter, these two F shit up, man. They do a lot of shit.
F shit up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Okay, so this hangar gets blown up, and then we get to see the remains. This is the remains of the hangar.
Nice.
Art, I have to admit that this main female character disturbs me because she's not homelier.
You like her? Oh, yeah, because the SJW thing is all about homely chicks. Yeah.
She's too beautiful. She should be,
She should be way pudgier.
Yeah,
She's
she should
way
be
athletic.
ashamed of herself. For
Well,
being
you know
beautiful.
what? As soon as she takes off her armor, you guys are going to see the shit hit the
Just a
She
big,
oozes.
big
oozes
hairy
out.
beer gut pops out.
Leave
And
it
the
to
same
Art.
goes for
leave it to Art to give be the OG that gives CG the masterclass book.
well, thank
Absolutely
you.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, my friend. I do appreciate it. And yeah, when Reed takes off his black armor, he's got a beer belly as well. Actually, when he takes his uniform off, he turns into a girl.
No, he's even more jacked. He actually shrinks into his suit.
He's more jacked. That's awesome.
He's
the
gonna
suit-
squeeze
the suit-
into it.
His abs increase.
Yeah, the suit hides the suit hides his muscles.
He squeezes them in.
Yeah, he's trying to be modest. This is his modest, suit. So we got Brooks Gray and Uncle Yi looking on, going, these two are just trouble. This is trouble, These guys are like oil and water. They do not mix. And so then they're just looking on the hangar that was once an actual
There's some
hangar.
art, really solid drawing craftsmanship in here. I mean, even just the angle of these two guys looking. It's the camera is filming or point of view up. It
Thank
makes
you.
it more dynamic. It's not just a straight on camera thing. I mean, that takes some skill to pull that
I
off.
love those faces.
They're
Just
kinda
the expression
cartoony.
and the line.
Well,
where
yeah,
it-
the one guy's concerned, like Gray is looking on. He's like, "Oh shit," because he was an agent for MI10, so he knows the level of shit that just hit the fan here. And then Uncle Yi's kind of like, "That's my girl."
the smile on Uncle Yi. That looks awesome.
I could see Mike DiCarlo trying to ink those chins and getting out the electric racer because it's an upward angle.
Yeah. You know what? Just FYI, he inked my first comic book work for DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike DiCarlo.
How'd it work? How'd it look?
It looked pretty good. Yeah, because I was kind of a fan of DiCarlo. So when I got that job, I was like, when I heard he was inking me, I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah,
Was it
DiCarlo
Warlord
was
23?
What's that?
Was it Warlord 23?
No, that was Pablo Marcos.
Yeah, I
that
was going to
inked
say,
on
it
that.
wasn't.
It was for some of the trading cards. I did, what was it? Star Trek trading cards.
What? You got
Yeah.
any? Do you have any of those?
I would
I
be
think-
very surprised if you still had some.
Yeah, I think I did. What's his name? Pike. He was the first captain, right?
Captain Pike. Yeah.
Captain Pike. Yeah, I did Pike, and I forget what else.
Some guy named
did.
Spock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Guy.
I did.
Uhura, maybe.
Some guy
I
named
don't know.
Spock. No, I didn't get any of the really cool characters. Yeah. So, well, you know what, you guys, there's a lot here to check out. Links are in the description. Pedro is going to have a killer animation school that he's going to be opening soon. Todd is doing art for hire. He's the commissioner of trading cards. We got Rob Hunter's Death Raider, that is going
Damn right.
strong. Clint Helinski's is his Superiors is live. It is live right now. So go check that out. Back that book. And Gary Martin, go sign up for his new art book. It looks fantastic, Gary. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. You're always welcome. And
I really appreciate you guys having me. This has been fun, and everybody in the chat. Just a huge thank you.
No, it was awesome being here.
Yeah, don't leave too quick after, because I got a technical question.
Uh-oh. Don't tell him anything.
Yeah. Follow Rob's example. Don't tell him anything. And if you do, you have to kill Todd afterwards. And you guys, you got one more second. If you want this nib, back a book. Come on.
Back a book.
102 Hunt. Yes, it has created major books. This book actually inked the Jim Lee X-Men books.
Oh, it's a historical nib.
What? How did it last? You know when that lasts.
As far as anybody knows.
Even the pen holder wouldn't last.
I don't believe it.
I tell you how it lasts, Rob. You have to learn how to file your nibs.
Yeah, I go through lots of nibs because I've never learned that technique. I tried over and over again, and I always killed the nib.
Kill the nib. You don't want to kill the nib, my friend. Yeah.
I know. I did it over and over.
You're a serial nibbler, Rob.
I'm a nib killer.
Yeah. Serial nibbler.
Nibbler. Okay.
Wow.
Well, hey, thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us for the last 2 hours or so. It's always amazing to hang out with you guys. It's a privilege. I know there's a lot of competition for your entertainment buck, but we're so thankful and grateful that you did hang out with us. And thanks to all my pontificators. You guys are the best. I look forward to hanging out with you guys every damn week. And Gary, you are always welcome to be a pontificator. So we'll add you. We'll add you in the green room. And so just click the link if you want to come on next week and hang out with us. So we'll see you all.
I appreciate that.
What's that?
I appreciate that. Out of everyone that I could hang out with, you guys are among them.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that. I think that's
check is in the mail.
It's elite company.
I'm gonna turn into an asshole now.
But no, really, you guys are a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Thanks, man, and thanks to David Williams for making this hookup.
David's been pushing me, and he's relentless.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, you guys. There's a lot of killer people working in CG, and this is the place to be right now as far as developing and building comics and entertaining people. So anyway, we'll see you next week, you guys. Thanks again, and take care.